Have you ever paused to wonder if ordinary people like you and me can truly achieve the extraordinary? Perhaps even what some might call supernatural feats, not through magic, but through a profound, almost forgotten understanding of our own minds and bodies.
It's a compelling question, isn't it?
It really is. Well, today on The Deep Dive, we're plunging into exactly that idea.
That's right. Our deep dive today unpacks the groundbreaking work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, specifically his book, Becoming Supernatural, How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon. We've gone through a stack of crucial insights from the introduction, chapters 1 through 14, and the afterword, too.
Yeah, and our mission for you is to take these most important nuggets of knowledge and show you how you might awaken your own extraordinary potential. We're going to explore this fascinating fusion of, cutting-edge science and ancient wisdom.
And reveal some truly surprising facts about what your mind and body are authentically capable of. It's pretty amazing stuff.
So, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's this unique figure, right? Doctor, scientist.
And a modern-day mystic, some would say. Yeah. His entire premise is built on integrating findings from really diverse scientific fields, everything from epigenetics, molecular biology, neurocardiology, even quantum physics.
He's essentially trying to answer that core question. How do we awaken our extraordinary potential in everyday life?
Exactly.
Now, what's interesting about Dispenza is his stance on, how his work is received. He openly acknowledges that some in the traditional scientific community might, label his concepts as pseudoscience.
Right. He even shares his own story, realizing that trying to convince people who were already fixed in their beliefs was just draining, a waste of energy, really.
So he made a conscious choice. He decided to stop trying to win over the skeptics and instead dedicate his focus to those who, as he puts it, believe in possibility and do want to listen.
And he's very clear. His goal isn't about dumbing down the science. It's about taking really complex scientific information and making it simple, understandable, and most importantly, applicable, so people can actually use it in their lives.
It's about practical change. Okay, let's unpack one of Dr. Dispenza's most foundational and honestly mind-bending ideas right away. He says we are not linear beings living linear lives.
Right, but dimensional beings living dimensional lives.
That's a huge statement. How does he help us understand what that really means, being a dimensional being?
Well, it fundamentally shifts how you see yourself. He argues that you already possess all the anatomy, chemistry, and physiology you need to become supernatural sitting latent within you, waiting to be awakened and activated.
Wow. So it's already there.
It's already there. And what's fascinating is how he connects this to your inner environment.
Yeah.
Most of us grew up thinking genes cause disease, that they're our destiny.
Yeah, absolutely.
But epigenetics, which he draws on heavily, shows us that your internal environment, your thoughts, your feelings, can actually program your genes. It's not just, say, the external stuff like pollution or smoking.
So our internal state, what's going on inside, has a direct, profound biological impact.
Precisely. And this is where he introduces the idea that emotions are the chemical consequences or feedback of past experiences.
Okay, unpack that a bit. Chemical consequences.
Think about it. Every strong emotional event you have, good or bad, it sort of brands neurologically in the brain, and those chemicals get stored in the body.
So in a very real sense, your past doesn't just influence your biology.
It becomes your biology.
Yeah, that's heavy.
And a really powerful and quite moving example of this is Anna Willem's story in the book. After her husband's suicide, she just spiraled. Physically, emotionally, paralysis, severe depression, her immune system crashed, ulcerations, esophageal cancer, even suicidal thoughts.
Oh my gosh.
Her entire state was just a direct manifestation of that past trauma. Her thoughts were literally making her sick, and her past became her biology. It's a stark illustration.
But then her journey takes this incredible turn, right?
It does. She attended one of Dr. Joe's lectures and had this huge realization, like a light bulb moment. She thought, if I created the life I have now, maybe I can uncreate everything with the same passion I created it with.
Wow. That's powerful.
Isn't it? And from that point, she started meditating, really dedicating herself to it. She said she was unwilling to get up from her meditations as the same person who sat down.
So she was actively changing herself in the meditation.
Yes. She learned to consciously teach her body emotionally what her future would feel like ahead of the actual experience, using elevated emotions.
And the results were?
Astonishing. Scientifically validated results. Her cancer vanished, the ulcerations healed, even her saliva production, which had totally stopped, came back.
Incredible.
It provided tangible proof that elevated emotions could signal new genes to make healthy proteins. which just underscores that core principle he talks about all the time. Where attention goes, energy flows.
Exactly. And this ties right into why so many of us feel stuck, Dispenza points out that when you wake up and immediately put all your attention and energy onto people, things, problems in your outer world,
your creative energy gets fractured.
Yeah.
It just flows away from you. There's nothing left for your inner world for creating something new.
So in essence, he says your energy is essentially equal to your past. You just keep recreating the same reality.
They're stuck in that loop.
So, okay, if our past literally becomes our biology, how do we break free? How do we escape that cycle?
Right. This is where he brings in the quantum field, the idea of accessing the quantum field in the present moment.
The quantum field. What exactly is that, according to him?
He describes it not really as a place, but as this vast immaterial realm beyond this space and time. It's where all potential futures exist, like infinite possibilities.
Okay.
But to enter it, you can't bring your usual self, your body, your problems, your identity, your past. He says you must enter as no body, no name, no schedules. You must enter as no body.
Pure awareness.
Kind of, yeah. An immaterial world of possibility.
And the key to getting there is the present moment.
Exactly. He calls it the sweet spot. That's where your energy stops being drained by the familiar past or the predictable future. It's where you consciously call your energy back to you so you can create something new.
So meditation is crucial here to overcome the automatic habits.
Absolutely. When you manage to get beyond that automatic thinking, emotions, and habits in meditation, you transcend your usual limits. You get beyond your body, your environment, and time.
And this shift, being present, it actually affects your brain waves, right? Brain coherence.
Yes, hugely. When we're chronically stressed, constantly focusing on external problems, our brain gets disordered, incoherent, firing erratically. But when you stop analyzing everything, when you open your focus, shift from that narrow focus on specific things, on matter.
To like the space around things.
Yeah, to divergent focus, focusing on space, energy, no thing, as he calls it. That shift leads to a much more coherent whole brain state, which is vital for creativity, for healing, for accessing potential.
And this links to the different brainwave frequencies, beta, alpha.
Exactly. We usually live in beta. That's our alert, analytical, often stressed survival state. But to really rewire ourselves, heal, create, you need to access alpha, which is calmer, more suggestible, creative.
Okay.
Then theta, which is that deep meditation state where you can access the subconscious, and even gamma, which he describes as a superconscious, very high energy state, internal arousal, but focused.
So the goal is to slow the brain waves down.
Primarily, yes. To slow down from beta to alpha and theta. That allows you to access your subconscious operating system and the autonomic nervous system, the part that actually knows how to heal your body much better than your conscious mind does.
Right. So how do you use this state to, manifest something new, a new experience?
Okay, so you need what he calls a vibrational match. A match between your energy and the energy of the potential future you want, which exists in that unified field.
A vibrational match. How do you create that?
It's not just thinking about it. It's consciously combining a clear intention with elevated emotions. You need both parts. The clear thought of what you want and the feeling of already having it.
The feeling, like gratitude, joy.
Exactly. Gratitude, joy, empowerment, love, freedom. Feeling those now.
He shares that experiment with the chicks, right? Renee, P.S. That seems almost unbelievable.
Pretty wild, yeah. These baby chicks imprint on a little robot. Then they're put in a cage where they can see the robot but can't get to it.
Yeah.
The robot's movements are totally random, generated by a computer.
Okay.
But the chick's intention, their intense desire to be near their mother robot, actually influenced the random event generator.
Right.
The robot ended up spending significantly more time in the half of the arena closest to the chicks.
Wow. Just their focused intention.
Yep. If baby chicks can do that, imagine what focused human intention combined with emotion can do.
Which leads perfectly into the story of his own son, Jace.
Right. A great real-world example. After grad school, Jace had this super clear, specific intention for his dream job.
What was it?
He wanted to work from anywhere in the world, make the same amount of money or more, have independent contracts for 6 months to a year, love what he does, be his own boss, and lead his own team. Very specific.
That is...
But crucially, he didn't just think it. He combined it with elevated emotions. He spent time every day tuning into the energy of his future, feeling empowered, in love with life, free and grateful, like it had already happened.
He embodied the feeling first.
Exactly. And the result? The job literally found him. No resume sent, no calls made, no interview. He got offered a 1-year contract, working remotely, making more money, doing exactly what he wanted, leading his own team.
That's incredible. A direct manifestation.
A powerful demonstration, yeah.
Okay, so building on intention, let's talk about our energetic systems. He says the body itself is like a magnet.
Yeah, our bodies have an electromagnetic field, just like the Earth does. And when our thoughts and feelings become repetitive, habitual, we keep broadcasting the same electromagnetic signature.
And that attracts the same old stuff.
Basically, yeah, you keep recreating the past. So to change your life, you literally have to change your energy, change that signal you're broadcasting.
And this connects to the energy centers, the chakras.
Right. He talks about 8 main energy centers.
Mm-hmm.
And our creative energy, our life force, flows through them. Or often it gets stuck.
Stuck based on emotions.
Exactly. Like if you're constantly living in fear or survival mode, energy gets stuck in the first center. Guilt or sadness in the second. Anger, control issues in the third. When energy is trapped in these lower centers, he says the body is literally in the past. And that electromagnetic field around you actually shrinks.
So how do you get it unstuck? Move it upwards.
This is where he introduces a key practice. The breath technique. It's quite specific, involving contracting intrinsic muscles, pulling energy up the spine.
Like drawing cerebrospinal fluid up.
Yeah, and it creates what he calls an inductance field. Think of it like an energetic pump. It liberates that stuck energy from the lower body and sends it up to the brain.
And what happens then?
It can produce gamma brain waves, that super aware state, a heightened state of consciousness. It's about physically reconditioning the body to match a new mind, releasing those old emotional patterns stored in the lower centers.
Okay, and then there's heart coherence. You mentioned the heart earlier.
Yes, the heart is huge in his work. He calls it the center of oneness, wholeness, and unity consciousness. When you consciously cultivate and maintain elevated emotional states, gratitude, appreciation, kindness, compassion, independent of what's happening outside you.
Regardless of circumstances.
Right. Your heart starts beating in a very orderly, coherent pattern. And this creates a measurable magnetic field around your body. And here's the kicker. The heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart.
Really? More info going up than down?
Yeah. So a coherent heart literally informs the brain, leading to better health, improved intuition, better cognitive function. He also mentions the thymus gland near the heart, playing a role in this connection and our immune response.
Fascinating.
That's it.
And this leads to the pineal gland, the third eye.
Exactly, the pineal gland. He describes this tiny gland in the center of the brain as a dimensional timepiece and a kind of cosmic antenna.
A cosmic antenna?
Yeah, capable of tuning into information beyond our physical senses. When it's activated, partly through that breath technique and pressure, it converts serotonin into melatonin, but then into even more profound upgraded metabolites of melatonin.
And these chemicals do what?
They essentially prime the brain for mystical experiences, deep insights, feelings of connection. This is where he says your whole body becomes filled with energy and light. You might perceive higher frequencies as complex, changing geometric patterns or vivid imagery.
Wow. And he links this to ancient symbols.
Yeah, like the Eye of Horus in Egypt or the caduceus with the snakes winding up the staff.
Mm-hmm.
He suggests these might be ancient representations of this knowledge, this process of activating higher states of consciousness through these energy centers and the pineal gland.
Okay, so we have these internal processes. What about practical tools for reprogramming ourselves and then maybe the bigger picture, collective impact?
Right. So for reprogramming, he draws an interesting parallel to something we see every day. TV commercials.
How so?
He points out how they use emotional branding, associating a product with a feeling, and often induce a light trance state, like alpha brainwaves, making you more suggestible. They program your subconscious, often using fear, to make you want or buy something, like a drug they advertise.
Huh. That makes sense. You kind of zone out watching TV.
Exactly. So he says, why not use similar principles for positive reprogramming? He suggests tools like mind movies and kaleidoscopes.
Kaleidoscopes. Like the toy.
Sort of, but designed specifically for this. The complex, beautiful, non-associative patterns help bypass your analytical mind. They can induce alpha or even theta states while your eyes are open. It lowers that critical filter.
Okay, so the kaleidoscope gets you into the right brain state.
And then the mind movies become the new program. These are personalized videos you create, filled with images and scenes representing your desired future, overlaid with positive affirmations and inspiring music.
So you're essentially programming your subconscious with your goals.
Yeah, exactly. You're helping to create memories of the future by repeatedly exposing your brain to the images and the associated elevated emotions of what you want to create. He shares a great story about Glenn and Natalie using their mind movie to manifest specific business success, like hitting $1 million in sales, even during tough economic times.
Their consistent focus really paid off.
It did.
This all seems to touch on different concepts of time, too. Time-space versus space-time.
Yeah, this gets a bit more philosophical, maybe quantum. He explains that in the quantum field, that realm of possibility, everything that exists in the eternal now, all time exists simultaneously.
Whereas our normal 3D reality is linear time.
Right, which he calls a separation from time. But beyond the speed of light in that unified field, there's theoretically no time or no separation between 2 points of consciousness. It's all one, all times.
He uses that entangled photon experiment, Elaine Aspect's work, as an example.
Yes, to illustrate non-locality. 2 photons linked, separated, and when one is measured or affected, the other instantly reflects that change faster than light could travel between them. It suggests an underlying connection, a field where separation is an illusion.
So moving from focusing on matter, on separation,
to experiencing that unified field means becoming, in his words, no body, no one, no thing, nowhere in no time. That's where you experience oneness.
And this personal transformation, this shift towards oneness, can it scale up? Can it affect the collective?
That's the idea behind Project Coherence. Dispenza argues strongly that individual coherence, when enough people achieve it, can definitely extend to influence the collective. He points to various peace-gathering projects.
Like large groups meditating for peace.
Exactly. And studies showing documented reductions in crime rates, terrorism, even warfare in the surrounding areas during these events, sometimes reductions averaging over 70%.
That's significant.
It is. And it's not just anecdotal. The Global Consciousness Project, for instance, monitors random number generators around the world. During major global events like 9/11, these generators showed deviations from randomness, suggesting a measurable collective emotional response impacting the Earth's field.
Wow, so our collective emotions can actually affect the planet's magnetic field.
The data suggests so,
Yeah.
which ties into the Earth's own rhythms. He mentions Chizevsky's research linking solar activity cycles to periods of human excitability, creativity, and even unrest throughout history.
And the Schumann resonance, the Earth's heartbeat.
Yeah, that frequency, around 7.83 hertz, resonates within the alpha theta brainwave range. It naturally influences our brains, potentially helping us access those deeper subconscious states. Organizations like the HeartMath Institute are even trying to measure how a coherent human community could create a measurable global effect on Earth's electromagnetic field.
It all points towards a deeper interconnectedness.
Absolutely. The ultimate vision he presents is one of emergence, humans operating as one mind, truly unified through consciousness. In that state, the idea is that to hurt another or affect another in any way is to do the same to ourselves, because we realize there's no real separation.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. What does this all mean for you, the listener? We've covered a lot, from understanding how your past literally shapes your biology.
Right, and learning these techniques, meditation, breath work, heart coherence, to access the quantum field, to actually recondition your body and mind.
And unlock that potential that Dr. Dispenza says is latent within all of us. It's a journey towards personal transformation, but also potentially contributing to something bigger, right? Global coherence.
Yeah, so what here is really practical, I think. These principles aren't just fascinating ideas. They offer a kind of roadmap, a way to consciously create your future, maybe heal your body in ways you didn't think possible, and definitely contribute to a more positive, coherent world.
It really goes beyond just personal well-being, doesn't it? It's about raising the collective energy, moving from separation towards unity.
Yeah, really.
And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with, something provocative from the afterword of the book. Dr. Dispenza makes this point. It's not enough to change your state of being only when you meditate.
That's the real challenge.
Yeah. The true challenge, and maybe the biggest opportunity, is to actually demonstrate peace, demonstrate gratitude, demonstrate wholeness by getting your body involved, moving from thinking to doing every single day, becoming a living example of the future you want to create.
Living the change.
Exactly. So the question for you is, what one step can you take today, maybe right now, to start embodying the supernatural potential that, according to Dr. Dispenza, you are truly capable of becoming? Plunging into something pretty profound, often surprising topic. how everyday people, people like us, can genuinely do the uncommon. We're talking about bridging science and mysticism to achieve things that might seem, well, supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
What if the secrets to healing, creating new opportunities, even having transcendent experiences, what if they all start with a powerful shift in consciousness that's actually already within you?
Exactly. And this isn't just some, abstract philosophy. Our deep dive today is really rooted in rigorous scientific measurement and some pretty compelling real-world stories. We're focusing particularly on Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. So our mission today really is to unpack the foundational principles from the book's first couple of chapters. We want to guide you through this incredible potential that lies latent within and explore how these concepts aren't just theoretical, but deeply practical.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. Becoming supernatural. What does that truly mean in this context? It sounds, well, it's a bold claim, right? But the source material suggests it's actually within our natural capacity. How does Dispenza define this extraordinary potential?
Well, he argues that humans possess this extraordinary, often untapped ability to just transcend perceived limitations. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's kind of uniquely positioned, isn't he? He's a doctor, a scientist, and a modern-day mystic. He synthesizes all these diverse fields, epigenetics, molecular biology, neurocardiology, even quantum physics, to show us not just what is possible, but how to achieve it. It's really about tapping into capabilities like, say, spontaneous healing or manifesting new opportunities, things we normally think are beyond human reach. But the book argues, no, they're innate. They're part of us.
Okay, so give us an example. What does this beyond limits idea look like in practice? Is there something specific from the book?
Yeah, the foreword shares this really captivating story about an 11th century yogi, Milarepa. He was said to have, get this, pressed his hand into solid rock, making it malleable enough to leave a perfect impression. And the explanation given is that through his deep meditation, Milarepa learned he was part of the rock, not separate from it, like fundamentally connected. So this demonstrated that physical laws they can have exceptions based entirely on our perception and our state of consciousness. The really powerful insight here is that our reality is fundamentally shaped by our internal state, how we perceive ourselves relative to the world.
That's a powerful ancient tale, definitely. But what really fascinates me is how Dr. Dispenza bridges this with modern science. How does this idea of greater potential translate into, practical terms for our everyday lives? And how did his team even begin to quantify these seemingly supernatural shifts?
Right. Well, Dispenza became really committed to proving that common people can do the uncommon. And he wanted proof, so he did it through extensive scientific measurements. The book's core model is basically this. Once you have a direct experience of this greater potential, it frees you up to embrace it daily. And the book then becomes a kind of step-by-step manual for accepting a future dream as your current reality. When we do this, our biology, our neurons, our heart, our body chemistry, they all start to harmonize. And the quantum field of possibilities, it literally rearranges our lives to match that new internal reality.
So we're talking about direct, measurable changes here. How does the science back this up? These sound like, miraculous transformations.
Yeah, and they've done extensive work. For instance, they've conducted thousands of brain scans using quantitative electroencephalogram, or EEG. These scans show that after just a few days at his workshops, participants' brains become significantly more synchronized and coherent. You can imagine it like tuning a radio to a clearer signal, right? This increased order helps people clarify their future intentions, making them much less dependent on whatever's happening externally. And what's really wild is they even recorded these puzzling off-the-charts energy readings that initially just baffled the researchers.
And it's not just the brain, is it? What about the heart? I know neurocardiology, the idea of the brain and the heart, is a big part of Dispenza's work.
Absolutely, yeah. The heart is key. They also detail these amazing changes in heart rate variability, or HRV. This shows that students are literally opening their hearts. They're learning to maintain elevated emotions like gratitude, inspiration, joy, kindness, appreciation, compassion. When this happens, the heart starts to beat with rhythm, order, and balance. It becomes coherent. And the combination of a clear intention from that coherent brain and an elevated emotion from a coherent heart, that's the formula, according to Dispenza, for influencing matter and creating reality. They even partnered with the Heart Math Institute to get quantitative feedback, helping students learn to sustain these states.
Okay, and this is where it gets even wilder, right? When your heart is coherent, it generates a measurable magnetic field, a field that actually extends beyond your body. So this isn't just internal, it's like an external broadcast. The book even talks about how a coherent group can influence others at a distance. That sounds incredible. And things like Project Coherence.
Yeah, it is pretty incredible that heart's magnetic field carries information, which is a powerful concept. And yes, Project Coherence aims to leverage that collective coherence, and there's actually peer-reviewed support for the idea that peace-gathering projects can have measurable effects. They've also moved into measuring the body's vital energy field, sometimes called photon emission. When we're stressed, that field shrinks right down. But in these elevated states, it expands significantly. So this isn't just abstract, it's physically observable. We're talking about our thoughts and feelings literally changing our biology and even our energetic footprint.
Which brings us right back to epigenetics. This is such a fascinating field. It completely turns that old idea that we're just victims of our genes on its head. Epigenetics shows us it's the environment, and crucially, our internal chemical environment, driven by our emotions, that signals our genes. Turn on, turn off. This changes their expression, right? Affecting protein production, which is fundamental to our body structure and function.
Exactly. And what they found is that students, just by consciously changing their inner states through meditation, show significant, measurable changes in gene expression. We're talking in just a few days, leading to often dramatic health improvements. It's a real paradigm shift to think our emotions have such direct biological power.
It really is. And that's why Anna Willem's story, which is featured so prominently in Chapter 1, is such a powerful example of these principles in action. So before all this, Anna was a successful psychotherapist in Amsterdam. Seemed like she had a fulfilling life. Then, devastating news in June 2007, her husband had committed suicide.
And her body's immediate reaction was just profound shock, pain, uncontrollable shaking. Her system went into total survival mode, flooded with stress hormones. Scientifically speaking, chronic stress keeps that primitive sympathetic nervous system constantly on. It diverts vital energy away from growth, repair, the immune system. It really compromises everything.
And this kicked off a really vicious cycle for Anna, didn't it? She relived the event constantly, and her body, because it can't tell the difference between a memory and the actual event, it just kept pumping out those stress chemicals. Day after day, it anchored her brain and body completely to the past. Her emotions became the chemical feedback loop of those past experiences. Her whole personality, biologically, got stuck in her past, that thinking, feeling loop you mentioned.
Yeah, and the downward spiral was just tragic. By March 2008, only 9 months later, she woke up paralyzed from the waist down, diagnosed with neuritis, an autoimmune condition, then financial ruin, clinical depression, an abusive relationship, then severe ulcerations, erosive lichen planus spreading through her mucous membranes, and finally an esophageal cancer diagnosis in January 2011. It was like her physical body was just mirroring her intense inner pain. She became, as the book says, addicted to the very emotions of stress, almost unconsciously using external problems to reaffirm that familiar, painful internal chemistry.
It's just heartbreaking to hear. Anna hit what the book calls her darkest night of the soul. She was actually contemplating suicide, but it was at that absolute rock bottom with a truly sincere prayer for help that she found her turning point.
Exactly. And she made this incredibly courageous decision. She stopped all her medical treatments except her antidepressants and decided to attend one of Dr. Dispenza's workshops. And it was there she had this profound aha moment. She thought, if I created the life I have now, maybe I can uncreate everything with the same passion. That was such a pivotal shift in understanding for her. The ultimate proof, really, of that mind-body connection in action.
And her commitment sounds like it was absolute, meditating twice a day, every single day, despite huge doubts, doctors warning her health was getting worse, financial problems, physical limitations. She just kept going. She was dedicated to believing in a new future more than she believed in her familiar, painful past. What specific practices did she actually use?
She used very specific techniques from the workshops. She started with the blessing of the energy centers. That involves focusing on different energy points in the body, changing brainwaves, reprogramming the autonomic nervous system towards health. She also used a specific breathing technique designed to liberate stored emotional energy from the body, to really free herself from the past's grip. Then, critically, she worked on reconditioning her body to a new mind. This meant embracing those heart-centered emotions of her desired future before it happened. She really got the epigenetics piece that elevated emotions could signal new, healthy genes to switch on. This naturally led her to practicing heart coherence, sustaining those elevated states to release all those beneficial chemicals. And finally, she incorporated a walking meditation, literally embodying her future self with her eyes open, installing those new habits into her very being.
Wow. And the results? Did all that intense inner work start to show up on the outside? Did her body finally catch up?
It absolutely did. Her thought patterns shifted dramatically. She started having glimpses of gratitude, even pleasure. Her addiction to those stress hormones began to lessen. She felt love again. But her ultimate breakthrough came at a workshop in May 2012. She described it as a complete surrender, becoming pure consciousness, connecting to the quantum field. That invisible field of pure potential. She had this vivid but sensoryless download of her future self. She saw herself on a huge stage holding a microphone telling her healing story. And this inner experience felt more real to her than anything in her outer world at that moment.
Incredible. So what was the physical outcome? What happened with the cancer and everything else?
Well, by September 2013, which was about a year and 9 months after her cancer diagnosis, Anna's cancer had completely healed, vanished. The tumor in her esophagus was gone. Her blood tests showed 0 cancer markers. Her mucous membranes healed up. Even her saliva production, which had stopped because of medication, came back later. And her life transformed completely. New career, financial independence, a loving relationship. Her journey really embodies that powerful quote she shared. What if the worst thing that ever happened to you turns out to be the best thing that has ever happened to you?
That's just an incredible story. Really powerful. Okay, shifting gears slightly, Chapter 2 of the book dives deep into the present moment. Now, this seems a bit counterintuitive, right? That to change your future, you have to somehow get out of time altogether. Explain why mastering this eternal now is so crucial for unlocking the supernatural. How does it require us to get beyond our physical body, our identity, our environment, even linear time itself?
It's absolutely crucial because, as the book explains, our mind is essentially the brain in action. And our brain is largely a product of our past, shaped by everything we've learned and experienced. Learning creates new neural pathways, new networks, and strong emotions create really lasting memories. So in a very real way, our past is literally stored in our brain and body chemistry. This means our consciousness is constantly being pulled back to the known, the familiar. It anchors us to what has already been.
Right, and this leads to that thinking-feeling loop Dr. Dispenza talks about, where our thoughts create certain feelings, and then those feelings generate more of the same thoughts. It basically keeps us trapped in a past-based state of being. And our daily routines just reinforce this, don't they? Creating habits that lead to a predictable future that's just a rerun of the past. It leaves absolutely no room for the unknown, for something new to happen.
Precisely. And this thinking-feeling loop, it doesn't just happen internally. It produces a measurable electromagnetic field that we constantly broadcast. Different emotions have different frequencies. Elevated emotions like love and joy vibrate much higher than, say, fear or anger. So essentially, our energy is equal to our past. To genuinely change our lives, we have to change this energy signature, this electromagnetic field we're constantly emitting. And a really key concept here is where you place your attention is where you place your energy. Think about that. When our attention is constantly fragmented, focused on all the knowns in our outer world people, objects, problems, our schedules, our energy gets siphoned off. There's very little left for inner creation, for creating something new. Each of these knowns, like your boss, your money situation, your spouse, they all have a neurological network in your brain and an emotional component attached. This energetically bonds us, ties us to our current, past, present reality.
So it's like our energy is just locked into our familiar world, keeping things the same. But there's a way to break free from this loop, right? How can we actually direct our energy towards the unknown, towards creating a new future?
Yeah, and that's where mental rehearsal comes in as a really powerful tool. The book cites some fascinating studies, like the Harvard piano study. Half the group just imagined playing piano scales for 5 days. And the before and after brain scans showed they created new neural circuits in their motor cortex, almost identical to the group who physically practiced. And similarly, studies from Cleveland Clinic and Ohio University showed that just thinking about exercising could increase muscle strength. So this isn't just positive thinking. It's about actually priming your biology. Now flip that. If we mentally rehearse our problems over and over, attaching those negative emotions, we are literally priming our biology for that future. It's epigenetics again. Constant negative emotions signal the same old genes, leading towards a kind of genetic destiny. But then you look at the Tacoma workshop study he mentions. Elevated emotions increased IgA, a vital immune protein, by almost 50% in just 4 days. It proves we can upregulate healthy genes just by changing our emotional state.
Wow, so it's really about actively taking the reins of our internal state, isn't it? Rather than just reacting to whatever life throws at us. The challenge then becomes calling our energy back from all those external things we're focused on. How do we actually do that in practice?
Well, it involves learning to disengage from the outer world by consciously changing our brainwaves, moving from those stressed high beta states down into more relaxed alpha, or deeper into theta, maybe even delta or gamma, which are associated with superconscious states. The process in meditation is often like this. You notice thoughts and emotions tied to the past or future popping up. You become aware of them. You stop them, and you gently bring your awareness back to the present moment, to the void, the unknown. And every single time you do that, your will becomes greater than your program. You're literally reconditioning your body to a new mind. This is how you start breaking the energetic bonds with your past-present reality. The book even mentions using a GDV machine. It's like an advanced energy camera to measure the ambient energy in workshop rooms. And they see these fluctuations as students collectively call their energy back from the environment and start building their own internal light fields. Now, he acknowledges this process can feel chaotic sometimes. Parts of the old life might seem to fall away. Like that story of the university VP who got fired shortly after starting this work, but then received much better opportunities he wouldn't have otherwise considered. That falling away just makes room for a new destiny to emerge.
And that brings us right back to what you called the sweet spot of the generous present moment. That place where the familiar past and the predictable future they don't exist anymore. This is where the magic, or maybe I should say the supernatural, really happens.
Yes, exactly. That's the space where all that energy that was tied up in the past becomes available, liberated, ready to be used to create something truly new, allowing you to build your own powerful energy field. This deep work, it can be challenging sometimes because we're literally overriding years, maybe decades of conditioning. But the book makes it clear, and the stories show it is ultimately so worth it. Our bodies are like these incredibly loyal servants, just waiting for new instructions from the mind.
What an incredible deep dive. We've really unpacked the profound power of your mind and your heart to influence your biology, your health, your entire reality. We've seen the scientific validation, epigenetics, brain coherence, heart coherence, these measurable energy fields. It's not just wishful thinking. And Anna's transformative journey alongside Dr. Dispenza's own experiences, they really stand as powerful testaments to this supernatural potential that seems to be latent within all of us.
So maybe just consider the implications for yourself. If our thoughts and feelings are constantly creating our reality, what if the very challenges you're facing right now are actually preparing you for an even greater breakthrough? We'd invite you to just reflect. Where's your energy flowing right now? Is it stuck in old patterns, reacting to the past? Or is it available for creation? How might you begin to consciously direct that energy towards a new, more desired future? And maybe the final thought is, what new possibilities are just waiting for you in that generous present moment once you truly decide to step fully into it? Okay, here's a thought to start us off. What if the seemingly empty space all around you, and maybe even deep within your own body, actually holds the precise key to manifesting your deepest desires, and maybe even unlocking incredible healing?
It's a pretty wild idea, isn't it?
It really is. And today, on The Deep Dive, we're taking a truly radical journey. We're stepping, entirely beyond the predictable sort of mechanical world of Newtonian physics and venturing directly into the quantum realm.
And our mission in this deep dive, really, is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from chapters 3, 4, and 5 of our source material. We want to give you a clear, kind of concise shortcut to understanding the how and the why behind connecting more deeply to your own potential.
Yeah, how things like intention, emotion, even your breath, how they can profoundly change your biology and literally reshape your future.
Exactly. It's about understanding those mechanics.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start right in chapter 3, which is the material titles. The quantum realm, where possibilities reside.
Yep.
So the text introduces us to the quantum field, or the unified field, as this invisible field of pure energy and information. And it exists entirely beyond our usual concepts of space and time. It really does defy what we normally think of as physics.
It does. The analogy they use is pretty helpful, I think. Imagine stripping away absolutely everything physical. All the objects, people, planets, galaxies just gone.
What's left?
You're left with what our source describes as absolute blackness, the void, the 0-point field. But here's the thing, and this is the profound insight. This void isn't empty at all. It's actually the fertile ground of all creation. It's where your awareness truly exists.
And it mentions, in this realm, our senses are irrelevant.
Totally irrelevant. You can't see, hear, feel, smell, or taste in the conventional way. Your existence there is purely as awareness. consciousness itself.
Okay.
And even though it sounds empty, this quantum field is actually an infinite field filled with frequency or energy, and, all frequency carries information. So it's truly a state where all possibilities exist.
Right, all possibilities. So if this is where everything originates, how do we actually access it? How do we get there?
Well, the material really emphasizes being fully, truly present in the present moment.
Which means letting go of,
Oh,
thinking about the future, dwelling on the past.
Exactly. Releasing thoughts of a predictable future or that familiar past. Becoming, as they say, nothing but awareness.
And when you do that, something actually changes. Physically, even.
Yeah, something profound begins to happen, especially when we look at the science, which the source dives into next. This discovery in the subatomic world.
The observer effect.
That's the one. Electrons, right? The fundamental building blocks of everything. They exist as infinite possibilities until an observer's attention collapses them into a physical particle.
Wow. So our attention literally creates reality at that level.
It shapes it, absolutely. And this raises a really important question for all of us, doesn't it? If you constantly view your life from the same old mindset, always expecting a future based on your past,
You're collapsing the energy into the same patterns.
you got it. You're essentially recreating the past. But the incredible potential here is that if you can consistently focus on the unknown, on what could be, rather than what has been, well, that's how you create entirely new possibilities.
That sounds powerful, but maybe not easy to do consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens inside us, like in our brains, when we actually start to practice this? Disengaging from the physical world, becoming nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time.
When you really commit to that state, significant brain changes start to happen. Your thinking brain, the neocortex, it actually slows down. It becomes more holistic, more integrated.
And your brain waves change too.
Big time. You transition from those often chaotic high beta waves, more stressed or overthinking, into more coherent alpha and theta waves.
Alpha and theta. Those are more relaxed, meditative states, right?
Exactly. And that shift moves your consciousness away from just the analytical mind and deeper into the limbic brain. That connects you directly with your autonomic nervous system.
Which is like the body's subconscious operating system.
Precisely. It's the system running the show behind the scenes.
And the benefit of achieving that coherence. What does that actually do for us?
Well, simply put, a coherent brain leads to a more coherent you. It promotes healing. It promotes optimal body function. It allows the body's innate intelligence to work better.
Is there evidence for this? Studies?
Oh, yeah. The material references a compelling study from a 2016 Tacoma workshop. Get this. Participants achieved meditative states 18% quicker, which is pretty good on its own.
Okay.
But even more impressive, they lowered their high-range beta waves, those stress indicators, by a huge 124%, and they increased their delta waves, linked to deep subconscious states, by 149%.
In just 4 days?
In just 4 days. It shows this kind of coherence really helps the body heal itself, essentially by getting out of its own way.
Okay, so that's the potential, the brain changes. But the million-dollar question then is, how do we actually use this? How do we turn these quantum potentials into, physical reality? What's the practical mechanism?
The material is very clear on this. It boils down to two crucial elements: a clear intention and an elevated emotion.
Okay, intention and emotion. Let's break that down. Clear intention. What does that look like?
It's the detailed specifics of what you want to create. Think of it like planning a dream vacation in minute detail. Where are you going? How are you getting there? Who's with you? What are you doing? What does the food taste like?
So really getting specific, that's the intention part, and that acts like an electrical charge.
Exactly. That focused thought is the electrical charge you're sending out into the field.
Okay, and then the second piece, elevated emotion. This seems key, maybe where people stumble.
Absolutely. This is critical. You have to tap into feelings like love, gratitude, joy, inspiration, excitement, awe. But here's the kicker. You feel them ahead of the experience.
Before it happens.
Yes. As if your intention has already manifested. As if that dream vacation is happening right now. That feeling, that elevated emotion is your magnetic charge.
So the intention is electric, the emotion is magnetic.
You got it. And together, that clear intention, electrical charge, plus the elevated emotion, magnetic charge, creates a powerful electromagnetic signature. It's unique to your desired state of being.
And that signature then attracts a match from the quantum field.
It attracts a vibrational match, yes, directly from the quantum field.
I remember reading that the heart plays a big role here. It's not just any emotion, is it?
No, that's a really important distinction. The material emphasizes heartfelt emotions. Why? because these specific emotions create coherence in the heart.
And the heart has its own field.
A powerful one. It produces a measurable magnetic field that connects us directly to that unified field. But here's the crucial point, the warning almost.
Yeah.
Trying to create from lower vibration emotions like guilt or pain or fear, it just won't work for manifesting something new and better. The energy you broadcast must be greater than your current limitation, greater than the feeling of lack or separation.
You can't attract abundance from a place of feeling poor.
Exactly. You can't attract health from a place of constant fear about illness. The frequencies just don't match.
Okay, it sounds incredible almost.
Yeah.
Magical. This idea that just intention and emotion can shape reality. Is there any, scientific evidence beyond just the theory?
Well, the chapters detail a really fascinating experiment by René Piach with baby chicks.
Baby chicks. Seriously?
Seriously. He had newly hatched chicks imprint on a little computerized robot thinking it was their mother. The robot was programmed to move randomly around an area.
Okay.
But the astonishing result was that the chicks, just through their focused intention, their desire to be near their mother, could influence the robot's random movements. The robot consistently spent more time closer to the chick's cage than chance would allow.
Whoa, just by wanting it.
Just by their focused intent.
Yeah.
So the source asks if baby chicks can do that. Just imagine your potential.
That's mind-bending. And there's even a personal story in the material, right? About your son, Jace.
Yeah, illustrates it perfectly. He was traveling kind of between jobs and really needed new direction. I encouraged him to try applying these principles.
So what did he do?
He picked a symbol, just the letter J for job. Then he listed out very specific intentions. Work from anywhere, earn more than before, actually love what he does, be his own boss. Really clear stuff.
And the emotions.
Then he spent time identifying and really feeling the elevated emotions he'd have when that job manifested. Things like feeling empowered, deeply in love with life, free, grateful, really embodying it.
Okay, so he did the process. And what happened? Did he start applying everywhere?
That's the amazing part. He didn't send a single resume, didn't make a phone call, didn't fill out one application.
So how?
He just focused on broadcasting that new electromagnetic signature, and the job found him. A 1-year contract as a surfboard fin designer, totally location independent, better pay. It ticked all the boxes. The experience matched his energy.
Wow. That's incredible proof of concept, really.
It really is, and it shows it's possible.
Definitely a powerful reminder for anyone listening. If Jace can do that, imagine what's possible for you. And the material doesn't just leave us with stories. It gives practical steps, right?
Right.
For preparing for the tuning into new potentials meditation.
Yes, very practical steps. First, you choose a potential experience. You want to create healing, job, relationship, abundance, whatever it is for you.
Okay.
Then assign a capital letter as its symbol. Draw those squiggly lines around it, like representing its field.
Got it. Then list specifics.
Yep, list at least 4 specific refinements for that potential. Really focus on what the details of the outcome, not the when or how. Let the field handle that.
And the final step.
List the elevated emotions you will feel viscerally in your body when it happens. Gratitude is a powerful default, the text notes, because feeling grateful implies it's already happened. It signals completion.
And the meditation itself guides you through feeling that future now.
Exactly. It involves resting attention in the body, shifting brain waves, unfolding into that infinite space, tuning into your potential via the letter, feeling the future emotions, surrendering it, and then blessing everything. It's a comprehensive process.
Okay, that covers chapter 3. Moving into chapter 4, the focus shifts more to the body's energy, right? Blessing of the energy centers.
This chapter really unpacks how we are fundamentally beings of light, information, energy, and consciousness. Everything, including our physical bodies, is made of and emits electromagnetic energy, light, and information.
Like the radio analogy you mentioned.
Yeah, think of your body like a transmitter and receiver. Just like unseen radio waves carry music, our bodies transmit and receive countless frequencies carrying information.
And most of reality is unseen.
They're vastly unseen. The visible light spectrum, what our eyes can detect, is less than 1% of the whole electromagnetic spectrum. We're surrounded by information we can't perceive with our normal senses.
The chapter also touches on frequency and wavelength.
Right, just the basic physics. Faster frequency equals shorter wavelength and higher energy. Think X-rays versus visible light. It sets the stage for understanding energy fields.
And we can actually measure these fields around the body.
We can. The material mentions Semyon Kirlian's discovery back in 1939, Trillian photography. He captured these electromagnetic fields, or auras, around objects, and even noticed healthier leaves had stronger, more vibrant fields.
And more recently, biophotons.
Yes, Fritz Albert Popp's research. He found that DNA emits tiny particles of light called biophotons. These actually communicate information between cells, regulating their function. Stronger, more coherent light emissions mean healthier organisms. Our cells literally talk with light.
That's fascinating. Our bodies are luminous. So how does our focus affect this, the convergent versus divergent idea?
This is crucial. Convergent focus is that narrow, pinpoint attention focusing intently on an object, a person, a body part. This type tends to be linked with survival mode, stress hormones, and incoherent brain activity. It narrows our field.
Okay, and divergent.
Divergent focus is the opposite. It's an open, broad awareness focusing on the space around the body, on light, on energy itself. This was pioneered by Les Femy, and he found it shifts the brain into a much more coherent, balanced, integrated state. Alpha waves increase.
And opening the focus helps access the subconscious.
Exactly. That open focus naturally slows brain waves from beta down into alpha, sometimes even theta. This moves you past the constant chatter of the analytical mind and into the realm of the subconscious, the autonomic nervous system.
Which brings us to the energy centers, the chakras.
Right, the body's 8 energy centers. The material explains each has its own sort of mini brain, a plexus of neurons, plus specific glands, hormones, and even its own level of consciousness or mind when you activate them with intention.
They produce chemical and energetic effects.
Precisely. They express energy and information.
These centers seem really fundamental. Maybe we should quickly walk through each one, just the core idea.
Good idea. So the first center, down at the perineum near the sex organs, is about basic survival, reproduction, safety, but also your root creative energy, how you birth things into reality.
Okay. Then the second, below the navel.
That's about consumption, digestion, but also relationships, social networks, security, and importantly, holding on versus letting go. Guilt and victimization often reside here.
The third, in the gut.
Your power center. Will, control, self-importance, drive, aggression, personal power lives here. Or lack thereof.
Then the fourth, the heart center.
Behind the breastbone. Heart, lungs, thymus gland. This is the big shift from selfish survival to selfless states. Love, caring, compassion, gratitude, wholeness. Divinity originates here, that connection.
The fifth, the throat.
Expression, thyroid gland. Speaking your truth, personal empowerment through language, voicing your reality.
Sixth, back of the head, pineal gland.
Yes, the first eye, higher dimensions, intuition, nonlinear perception. The inner alchemist, seeing beyond the veil.
Seventh, center of the head, pituitary.
The master gland, associated with ultimate harmony, highest levels of consciousness, your direct experience of divinity.
And there's an eighth one, above the head.
Yeah, about 16 inches above the head, according to the source. This is your connection to the cosmos, to the unified field itself, where you receive insights, epiphanies, downloads of creative potential.
Wow. So the idea is for energy to flow up through these.
Ideally, yes, from the first up to the 8th. That's the path of personal evolution. But trauma, stress, limiting beliefs, they cause energy to get stuck.
Especially in the lower 3.
Often, yes. Survival issues, sexual hang-ups, victim mentality, control issues, anger trap energy there. And if it's stuck low, it can't flow up to the heart, the throat, the higher centers.
So the blessing of the energy centers meditation is designed to get that stuck energy moving again.
That's exactly its purpose. By consciously placing your attention and blessing each center with elevated emotion, you encourage that upward flow.
And what happens if we're constantly stuck in survival mode, overusing those first 3 centers?
Well, the text says we're essentially drawing energy away from the body's overall invisible field. That field shrinks, the light diminishes, the signals become incoherent, and eventually that can manifest as disease. We're depleting our vital energy.
Because everything is held together by these fields.
At the subatomic level, yes. Atoms, molecules, cells, tissues, organs, they're all organized and instructed by invisible energy fields.
The organ transplant stories mentioned are wild. They really support that idea of information stored in the field.
They really do. Claire Sylvia craving her donor's favorite foods, the little girl having nightmares of her donor's murder. It strongly suggests memories, information, consciousness imprinted in the organ's energy field transferred to the recipient.
Truly incredible. So the blessing meditation helps us rebuild and harmonize these fields.
That's the goal. By resting your attention in each center, the particle, and then opening your focus to the space around it, the wave.
Particle and wave.
Right, and combining that dual focus with an elevated emotion, love, gratitude, joy, you built a coherent, high-frequency field around each center.
And the body responds to that new field.
Yes, the body then draws information and energy from this new, coherent, upgraded field. It moves towards balance and healing. But you have to surrender the analytical mind, get into alpha and theta states for the subconscious to really engage.
And they can measure these changes, too, with that GDV device.
Mm-hmm. The gas discharge visualization device can show changes in the overall energy field and the balance between the centers before and after the meditation.
So, summarizing the blessing meditation: place attention, open focus, bless each center with elevated emotion, especially gratitude for the eighth, then open focus to the whole body's field and lie down to integrate.
You got it. It's about programming each center with new information.
Okay, that leads us perfectly into Chapter 5, reconditioning the body to a new mind. This brings back that thinking-feeling loop, doesn't it?
It does. It revisits how our thoughts create biochemical reactions, leading to feelings, which then trigger more thoughts. And round we go, conditioning the body to expect and live in the past.
Because the body, as the unconscious mind, doesn't know the difference between a real event and an internal memory with emotion.
Exactly. It relives past experiences biochemically every time we dredge up those old emotions. Fear about a past event feels the same chemically as facing a new threat.
By our mid-30s, the suggestion is, like, 95% of who we are is habit. The body's just running old programs.
Largely, yes, unless we consciously intervene. So the goal here is to pull the mind out of the body, out of those automatic programs, to create new possibilities instead of just repeating the past.
So how does this energy, these emotions, actually get stored physically in those first three centers?
Well, specific thoughts and feelings activate corresponding neural networks, but also trigger chemical reactions. That energy, in the form of emotion, gets stored or trapped in the associated energy center.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Thinking thoughts like, my boss is unfair, I'm not respected, might lead to chronic anger or resentment. That energy tends to get stored in the third center, the solar plexus. Over time, that could contribute to adrenal issues, digestive problems, ulcers.
Okay. What about the second center?
Thoughts like, life is too hard, I always suffer, it's my fault, can lead to feelings of guilt or victimization. That energy often lodges around the navel, the second center, maybe causing issues there.
And the first?
Preoccupation with survival fears or maybe lust or sexual insecurity. That energy tends to pool in the first center, the reproductive and elimination area.
And the consequence of all this trapped energy?
Less energy available for growth, healing, creativity, or moving up into those higher centers. And as we said, it shrinks the body's overall vital energy field, making us less luminous, less coherent.
This is where the breath technique comes in, as a way to liberate this energy.
Precisely. It's presented as a key tool for pulling the mind out of the body, breaking those old patterns, and releasing that stored emotional energy so it can be used for higher purposes, like creation or healing.
The book calls it an alchemical process, transmuting lower emotions into higher ones.
Yeah, transmuting things like anger, frustration, guilt, suffering, grief, fear, and turning that raw energy into elevated states like love, gratitude, joy. It's repurposing the energy.
And it relates back to the body being a magnet.
It does. If your mind brain is the North Pole and the base of your spine is the South, survival emotions stuck in the lower centers cause the body to lose its magnetic charge, its coherence. The breath technique helps restore that current, rebuilding the electromagnetic field.
Okay, let's get into the physiology. How does this breath technique actually work?
Well, you've got your central nervous system protected by the sacrum, spine, and skull. Cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, bathes the brain and spinal cord, and it's highly conductive, enhancing electrical charges.
Right.
Now, normally, just breathing causes subtle movements. Inhaling flexes the sacrum back slightly, opens skull sutures a tiny bit, exhaling reverses it. This creates a very gentle wave, slowly pumping CSF up the spine.
Okay, that's the normal state. So the technique amps this up.
Massively. You intentionally contract the intrinsic muscles, the perineum, first center, then the lower abdomen, second center, then the upper abdomen, third center, in sequence, while taking a slow, steady inhale through the nose.
And focusing attention where?
Focusing your attention at the very top of your head, visualizing, pulling that energy upward. This combination of muscle contraction and focused intent dramatically accelerates the CSF upward toward the brain.
It's like creating an internal pump.
A powerful one. And accelerating that charged fluid, the CSF, isn't just moving liquid. It creates an invisible electromagnetic inductance field around the spinal column.
An inductance field, like generating electricity.
Sort of. It creates a powerful internal current. And this field literally pulls that stored stagnant energy from the lower three centers up the spine towards the brain. It's like vacuuming up the old energy. The source calls it waking up a sleeping dragon.
Wow. Okay, so this liberated energy rushes up to the brain. What happens then?
It strongly engages the sympathetic nervous system, but from within, using liberated energy, not external stress. As the energy surges up and reaches the brainstem, it hits a structure called the thalamus.
The thalamic gate.
Yes, that gate opens, allowing this potent energy to flood the brain. And this is where something really remarkable happens. The brain starts producing high-amplitude gamma waves.
Gamma waves?
Yeah.
Described as superconsciousness.
Exactly. These are the highest frequency, highest energy brain waves, and crucially, they originate from within. When you're in gamma, your inner world can become more real, more vivid, more tangible than the outer environment.
And this is measurable.
Oh, yeah. The source mentions students consistently producing significant gamma and high beta waves with high coherence after practicing this breath. It's a documented physiological change.
Does it affect the pineal gland too?
It does. As the energy hits the thalamus, it's relayed to the pineal gland. The pineal then releases potent neurochemicals, metabolites described as elixirs. These can create profound altered states, sometimes feeling like bliss or ecstasy. The text even says an orgasm in your head. It helps quiet the analytical mind.
Like a Kundalini experience.
Very similar concepts, yes. It's activating that dormant potential energy. And the material also mentions the prana tube, this energetic channel along the spine known in yogic traditions, which becomes energized during this process.
So the breath liberates the energy. But then there's a second crucial part to this meditation, right? Embracing elevated emotions again.
Absolutely vital. This is the reconditioning part. Liberating the energy is step one. Programming the body with a new emotional state is step two for lasting change.
And this connects to gene expression.
Directly. The environment signals genes, turning them on or off. Emotion is energy, information. It's an internal environmental signal. When you consistently embrace elevated emotions internally.
You're signaling your genes before the external environment changes.
Exactly. You're telling your body, at a genetic level, that the desired future, the healing, the abundance, the new relationship is happening right now. The body believes it because the emotion is present.
And higher frequency emotions carry better information.
They carry new, coherent information. This shifts the body's overall state towards health and allows for optimal gene expression. To truly overcome past trauma or change health outcomes, the inner emotion you generate has to be greater in amplitude than the lingering emotion of the past pain or limitation.
That's how you rewrite the signal.
That's how you rewrite the signal. And again, there's evidence. A 2017 Tampa workshop study showed participants significantly changed the expression of 8 key genes in just 4 days. Genes related to neurogenesis, cell repair, anti-aging, even tumor suppression.
Wow. Changing gene expression through meditation and emotion.
It's happening, and it touches on the idea of junk DNA, that 95% we don't fully understand. The material suggests it's not junk at all, but a vast library of potential.
Potential for
Genius, longevity, profound healing, heightened senses, all waiting to be activated by the right energetic signals, primarily these elevated emotions. We're tapping into dormant capabilities.
Okay, so for the actual reconditioning the body to a new mind, meditation practice, how does one start?
You begin by practicing the muscle contractions separately. First, just squeezing the perineum muscles, first center, then adding the lower abdomen, second center, then all 3 perineum, lower and upper abdomen, third center, building that conscious control.
Get the mechanics down first.
Right. Then you practice the breath combined with the focus. Target your attention at the top of your head. Slow, steady inhale through the nose, really following the breath, the energy, the sensation up the spine to that target point. Hold the breath briefly, feeling the energy pool there, then relax on the exhale. Imagine drawing fluid up a straw.
Visualizing the upward movement.
Then you put it all together. You coordinate the sequential muscle contractions with that slow, steady inhale, pulling that liberated energy up through all the centers, holding it at the top of the head with your attention locked there. Then relax everything on the exhale.
The purpose being?
Liberating that stuck energy from the past, using your own body as an instrument of consciousness to literally ascend that energy to the brain, making it available for creating a new future.
And the formal meditation includes music, then open focus.
Yes. Do the breath technique perhaps with inspiring music to build energy? Then shift into open focus, becoming pure consciousness again. Then consciously cultivate those elevated emotions, name them, feel them. Joy, freedom, gratitude, love, empowerment, awe.
And blessing again.
Yes, blessing your body with this new energy, blessing your life, your soul, your past, your future, even your challenges. Blessing the divine intelligence within you, and crucially, giving thanks for your new life before it's made manifest, embodying it fully.
It's a very complete practice integrating everything we've discussed.
It really is. It combines the quantum understanding, the energy center work, the breath, and the emotional reconditioning.
So a final thought for everyone listening, maybe something to ponder. If your body truly is this magnet, capable of attracting its future through the energy you broadcast.
What new experiences are you willing to consistently embody and send out as your signal into that quantum field?
And maybe what hidden potentials, what dormant genes for genius or healing are you finally ready to awaken within yourself starting today?
We're here to explore ideas that will really make you think, maybe even change how you see things. And today, we've got a pretty big question. What if transforming your life, like really dramatically changing things, isn't just some nice philosophical idea? What if it's something practical, something you can actually learn, a skill you can get good at? So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack how some of these concepts we've talked about before actually work in the real world. We'll dig into the amazing intelligence of the heart and look at how some modern tools might literally help you rewire your own reality.
Yeah, exactly. When you past just, understanding these things intellectually, we're getting into how knowledge becomes something you live, something you actually experience. Wisdom, really. And these aren't just like abstract concepts. They're real actionable truths. When you apply them consistently, the changes can be, pretty incredible, measurable even. Think of this as the how-to part, stepping into conscious creation.
Right. And for this deep dive, we're focusing specifically on chapters 6 through 8 from our source material. So we'll look at real-life examples, the actual science behind this idea of heart intelligence, and some really innovative ways to, reprogram your mind. Get ready, because this might really expand what you think is possible for yourself. Okay, so let's start with these real-life stories. The source material uses them really powerfully, doesn't it, to make these big ideas feel, relatable, grounded. These aren't just feel-good stories. They're like living proof that these huge, almost unbelievable changes can actually happen.
Absolutely. What these case studies really map out is that journey, from just getting it intellectually to really feeling it in your body through practice day in, day out. And then finally, it becoming this deep, unshakable wisdom in your soul. Each story, it shows someone overcoming something massive, a major limitation. And it proves that these kinds of shifts, they're not just for, monks on a mountaintop. They're achievable for anyone.
Let's dive into Ginny's story first. Healing chronic back and leg pain. I mean, this sounds intense. It started back on December 9th, 2013, a really bad car accident, and the pain was immediate, just debilitating. 2 herniated discs, L4 and L5, in her lower back, causing this constant, severe pain that shot all the way down her leg to her foot. Ouch. She could barely walk. Driving, forget about it. Sleep was down to maybe 4 or 5 hours a night. And imagine trying to care for 2 little kids, 3 and 5 years old, like that, or work. The stress, financial and emotional, it led to deep depression, anger, just a spiral. And she'd actually done a workshop before, meditated, but the pain was so bad after the accident, she just stopped. Couldn't sit, couldn't focus.
And this is a classic case where, conventional medicine did what it could, but it just wasn't enough for Jenny. She tried the chiropractor, pain management clinics, muscle relaxants, Neurontin, Mobic, even multiple injections directly into the area. Nothing gave lasting relief. After 2 years of this constant struggle, her doctor basically said, okay, next step is lumbar surgery, repair the discs, and maybe even spinal fusion if that didn't cut it. So you can imagine she was feeling pretty desperate.
Yeah. Okay, so here's where it takes a turn. Just a week before that surgery was scheduled, Ginny's husband manages to convince her to go to another advanced seminar, this one in Seattle. The flight itself was agony, but she went, and understandably, she gets there feeling hopeless, just wanted painkillers, wanted to be in bed. But that first night, her friend Jill says something really powerful to her, just full of conviction. Ginny, you will be healed tomorrow, right here.
That must have planted a seed. So the next day, Ginny makes a decision. She decides to just surrender, let go of judgment, try to be fully present. She even decided against taking heavy meds because she wanted to experience whatever happened clearly. The first meditation was still a struggle, pain flaring up. But then in the second one, after breakfast, something really shifted.
Okay, what happened?
Well, the facilitator was guiding them through a breathing exercise, focusing on releasing specific negative emotions. Ginny decided to work with her anger first. And she described this feeling like energy moving right up her spine and then intensely leaving her body through the back of her head, a real physical sensation. Then she turned her focus to the pain itself. As she breathed and moved that energy, she actually saw it in her mind's eye. It turned bright purple, had these overtones, and as it moved, it slowed down, became less intense. She felt like she genuinely liberated that energy.
Wow, okay. So releasing the emotion, then the pain energy. What came next?
She was then guided conceptually into the quantum field. This space described as becoming no body, no one, no thing, nowhere in no time. Just pure awareness, like dissolving into this vast, endless black space.
And how did that feel?
She described this intense feeling of peace, unconditional love. She completely lost track of time and space. And crucially, she felt no physical pain at all. Yet she was totally present, totally aware. She said later, and I'm quoting here, "I never experienced anything like that before. It was so profound that it's difficult to put into words. My senses were magnified and I felt connected to everybody, everyone, everything, every place, and every time. I was part of the whole, and the whole was part of me. There was no separation."
That sounds incredible, like a complete shift in consciousness.
That's exactly what it was. Jeannie got beyond her physical body, beyond the limitations of her environment, beyond linear time. Her consciousness connected directly with the consciousness of the unified field. That's the underlying energy field, the intelligent blueprint connecting everything. She found what the Source calls the sweet spot of the generous present moment, a place of pure potential, pure wholeness. And in that state, her autonomic nervous system, the body's own innate healing intelligence, just took over and did the work.
And the physical change was immediate.
Immediate and dramatic. After the meditation, they were asked to get up from the floor. Normally, Ginny needed help with this. It was so painful. This time, absolutely no pain. None. She stood up, walked without a limp, her back perfectly straight. She said during lunch she was just overwhelmed, crying tears of, joy and confusion. She started testing it, doing movements that were impossible before, still no pain, and that feeling of being connected to the unified field just stayed with her.
That's just, wow. And did it last?
It did. That evening, her husband told her something interesting. He said he somehow knew she'd be healed at the workshop, like a premonition. She slept through the entire night, something she hadn't done in years, and woke up feeling full of energy. The next day, there was a walking meditation. She walked tall, straight, no pain, no difficulty. She went home and canceled the surgery. And the Source says, to this day, she has remained completely pain-free.
That's an amazing story. It really makes you think about the power we might have inside us, doesn't it?
It really does. Ginny's journey suggests that maybe the most powerful healing resource isn't outside us, but dormant within our own consciousness, just waiting for us to tap into it.
Okay, let's touch on a couple of other cases briefly, because they highlight different aspects of this.
Yeah.
Daniel, dealing with electromagnetic hypersensitivity, EHS. He was described as a crazy, stressed-out Israeli entrepreneur. His life completely changed after one specific incident during a phone call. Suddenly, he gets the worst headache of his life, and then this mysterious pain whenever he's near EM fields, phones, laptops, Wi-Fi. And he'd worked in computers before with no issues.
Right, and the medical journey was incredibly frustrating for him. Multiple doctors, endless tests, all negative. He faced condescending attitudes, doctors implying it was psychosomatic, all in his head.
Okay.
Eventually, some holistic doctors diagnosed him with EHS. It's a controversial condition, yes, but the World Health Organization does recognize it. The theory involves how water and minerals in the brain might interact with these frequencies.
And the impact on his life was just devastating. Chronic pain, exhaustion, even after 12 hours of sleep. He was taking like 40 supplements a day with no relief, had to close his business, went bankrupt, moved in with his mom, felt like a zombie, even had suicidal thoughts because the agony was constant. Strong signals made the headaches 1,000 times worse.
A really dark place. But then 3 years after the symptoms started, he read, "You are the placebo." And something just clicked. He felt this was the solution. He started meditating using the changing beliefs and perceptions meditation and saw a gradual improvement. But the big shift came with the blessing of the energy centers meditation. During that, he described this incredible light show in his head at the 6th Energy Center, seeing brain areas light up and communicate, and then a huge beam of loving light coming from the top of his head. He said this inner experience felt more real than the memory of the past.
Wow. So he had this internal breakthrough. And then what? How did that translate to the EHS?
The pain-free period started getting longer, first 10 minutes, then eventually lasting for months. And then he took this incredibly brave step. He started meditating while intentionally exposing himself to EM fields, phone on, laptop nearby. He even eventually hired a desk in a shared office space surrounded by Wi-Fi and meditated there for 5 hours a day.
Facing the trigger head on, that takes guts. And the outcome.
Today, 100% healed, back at work, totally out of debt. And get this, he says he works only 1 to 1.5 hours a day now, but makes significantly more money than before. He's genuinely enjoying life again. What's fascinating is that courage, right? To face the very thing causing the pain and transform his internal state despite the external trigger.
Incredible resilience. Okay, and Jennifer's story, sickness and health. Her situation sounds almost overwhelming. Multiple chronic illnesses. Autoimmune stuff like lupus and Sjogren's, GI disorders like celiac, asthma, kidney disease, arthritis, severe vertigo. Her daily life was just a constant struggle. Brushing teeth was hard. Needed a nap just to make dinner.
Yeah, and the emotional toll was immense. Feeling like a terrible mother because she couldn't play with her boys. Spending whole weekends just sleeping to recover enough energy for the work week. And the happy pictures on Facebook. They hit a grim reality. She was down to 108 pounds, struggling to walk due to severe swelling, couldn't even use her right hand sometimes, resorted to hitting her arm to try and stop the pain, constant inflammation. Specialists had basically given up, telling her to just learn to live with it. Privately, she feared she didn't have long left.
Oh my gosh, that's heartbreaking. But her partner, Jim, didn't give up.
No, he kept searching relentlessly for alternatives and found this same work, found you are the placebo. They decided to attend a workshop together.
And how did that go for Jennifer?
She felt noticeably better, even after just a weekend workshop in Sydney. They registered for an advanced one in Mexico, but she missed it due to a kidney stone, like seriously. But she didn't give up. She kept doing the meditations daily, waking up at 4:50 a.m. Her breakthrough came at the next advanced workshop she attended, this one in Australia. The first night, just getting up the stairs was a huge struggle, but by the end of the workshop, she was walking like a perfectly healthy person, no asthma medication needed. And she ate pizza, which would normally cause a major reaction, and described it as the best pizza she ever had, with 0 adverse effects.
That's a night and day difference. How did she describe her meditation practice during this transformation?
She focused on tuning into the potential of health. Feeling abundant energy, imagining herself running joyfully. She would actually cry tears of joy during the meditations, feeling that future health so vividly.
So what's the mechanism here? How did that happen?
Essentially, she was conditioning her body to literally forget what illness feels like, looks like, sounds like, and tastes like. By consistently raising her energy, changing her frequency through elevated emotions, she was reconditioning her body to a new mind, signaling new genes, different genes than the ones associated with her illnesses to repair her body. She was embodying health before it manifested physically.
In her current state.
Absolutely impressive. Eating normal food again. No asthma medication since June 2015. Walks up to 10 miles a day, lifts 45 pounds, and was training for a half marathon at the time the source was written.
It's like her body completely forgot how to be sick.
That's a great way to put it. It demonstrates the extraordinary power of that mind-body connection when harnessed intentionally.
Okay, one more quick one. Felicia, a medical doctor with severe eczema since infancy.
Yes, and this gave her a unique perspective. She'd suffered intermittently her whole life, only getting temporary relief from conventional medicine. After a decade in clinical practice, seeing thousands of patients, she felt frustrated by the limitations she saw in her own profession. So she started searching for science-based alternative solutions, which led her to this work.
She attended a workshop, found it life-changing, got tools to reevaluate her beliefs. But she admitted she was still skeptical, kind of held back.
And initially, things improved. Her skin got better. She even manifested a new relationship. But then she hit a roadblock. Her dream of starting a holistic medical practice was thwarted by issues with UK medical indemnity bodies. Feeling trapped and stressed, her eczema flared up again, quite badly, in December 2016.
A setback. But she didn't quit.
Nope. She kept meditating, signed up for an advanced workshop, and she created a mind movie. We'll talk more about those later, setting intentions for healthy skin, and also for inspiring others by sharing truth fearlessly, kind of foreshadowing her own journey.
Okay, so the advanced workshop, what happened there?
During a specific breathing technique aimed at activating the pineal gland, Felicia made a conscious decision to completely surrender. She described this overwhelming energy building in her throat, a sensation that felt like fear, but she stayed with it. Stayed present, ignored distractions. Focused entirely on connecting to the unified field with a feeling of pure freedom and liberation.
And then
an exhilarating explosion of energy in her brain. That's how she described it. An instantaneous connection with a loving consciousness, an absolute knowing, a recognition of pure love, an overwhelming emotion of joy. She felt like she was coming home, experiencing this deep oneness while still being fully aware of her surroundings. She could hear things in the room. Interestingly, the scientists monitoring her brainwaves during this apparently said something like seizure because the energy surge was so unprecedented.
Whoa. So there was objective data backing up her subjective experience.
Yes, exactly. Graphics in the source material show her brain shifting from normal beta waves to high beta and then into this incredibly high energy gamma state, 190 standard deviations above normal. The pineal gland area, the emotional processing centers highly activated. And as a medical doctor, she understood the significance. She knew she was experiencing absolute truth and freedom.
And the outcome for her health and her life.
Within days, she felt this new sense of fearlessness, playfulness. Synchronicity started happening, like being spontaneously pulled on stage to share her story, which was literally in her mind movie. And the eczema. It resolved completely after she got home. There's a graphic showing the clear skin change.
Amazing. So the internal shift preceded the external healing.
Precisely. And today, she's off all medication, skin clear, life unfolding in new positive ways. Her quote really sums it up. Mark my words, if a once jaded, intensely analytical doctor can do it, absolutely anyone can. Just begs the question, right? How is this possible? What's the underlying mechanism?
Yeah, exactly. How is this possible? Which leads us right into the next big topic, the science of heart intelligence. These transformations seem deeply connected to it.
They absolutely are. And this idea of the heart being central isn't new. Ancient Egyptians, Mesopotamians, Greeks, Romans, they all saw the heart as the seat of wisdom, the soul, life itself. It was really Descartes back in the 17th century with his mechanistic view of the body who kind of overshadowed that innate intelligence, reducing the heart to just a pump. But now, modern science is bringing it back full circle. It's showing the heart is way more than a pump. It's a powerful electromagnetic field generator. It processes information, and it's our direct connection to that unified field we talked about.
So not just pushing blood around, it's a sensory organ, guiding decisions, helping us understand ourselves. But why the heart? What makes it so special in this context?
Well, since about 2013, the research into coherence and transformation has really zeroed in on this. It turns out that elevated emotions, feelings like love, compassion, gratitude, joy, these are key. They create a sense of wholeness, connection. The opposite of stress, which fragments us, drains us. And let's face it, maintaining equilibrium in our high-stress culture is a huge challenge. Look at heart disease, a massive issue, costing billions, and stress is a primary driver. So the antidote, really, is developing the ability to regulate our internal state, regardless of what's happening outside. And that's a skill. It takes knowledge, applying that knowledge and practicing it.
And the Heart Math Institute, HMI, they've been pioneers in this research, haven't they?
Absolutely. Since 1991, their mission has been to understand this heart-brain coherence. They provide scientifically validated tools to help people bridge that gap between the heart and mind, bringing our systems into balance through the heart's intuitive guidance.
So the idea shared with HMI is about marrying intention and emotion.
Precisely. Creating a new future requires bringing together a clear intention that's like the coherent brain, an electrical charge with an elevated emotion, the coherent heart, acting as a powerful magnetic charge. HMI's research shows this combination literally changes our biological energy. When our energy changes, our life changes. It shifts us from being, victims of our circumstances to being the conscious creators of our reality. It creates a whole new state of being, a new personality, and that new personality naturally creates a new personal reality.
Okay, so let's define heart coherence clearly. It means the heart is beating in a really consistent, rhythmic, orderly way, like a smooth, steady rhythm.
Exactly. It's a physiological state. And when we achieve that coherent rhythm, we gain access to what HMI calls the heart's intelligence. It's like opening a channel to this flow of awareness, intuitive knowing, insights that benefit not just us, but others too.
And the list of benefits is pretty long.
It really is. Lowering blood pressure, improving the balance of the nervous system and hormones, enhancing brain function like focus and creativity, boosting intuition. It even helps prevent us from falling into those old stressful patterns. Better decision-making, more mental clarity, And crucially, sustained heart coherence promotes healthier gene expression. It tells your genes to support health and vitality. So by consciously practicing feeling joyful, loving, grateful states, we literally create a new internal order that ripples out into better health and happiness across the board. Think about how much time we might unconsciously spend feeling stressed or unhappy. What if we consciously practice coherence instead?
You described the heart earlier as the fourth energy center, the bridge. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, it's seen as this central point, the bridge between our lower three energy centers, which are more about our physical body, survival, duality, and our upper three centers, connected to our higher self, unity, consciousness. The heart is where divinity begins, where that separation starts to merge. It's the union point of duality.
And when that center becomes coherent, what happens systemically?
It's fascinating. The nervous system responds by sending signals that significantly boost the brain's energy, creativity, and intuition. It positively impacts pretty much every organ system. Yeah. The heart and brain start working in harmony. This fosters that feeling of wholeness, connection, contentment, not just inside you, but with everything and everyone around you. When you're genuinely in that heart-centered state, that feeling of wholeness literally consumes any feelings of want or lack. You're creating from oneness, not separation. You're not waiting for something outside you to change how you feel. You start becoming familiar with your future self, creating new experiences from within. If you consistently activate that heart center during your creative process, you feel like your future has already happened. And this naturally shifts us from more selfish, survival-based states to selfless states, where we make choices for the greatest good.
Let's bring in the autonomic nervous system, the ANS. You mentioned the two branches, sympathetic and parasympathetic.
Right. Sympathetic is fight or flight, prepares us for action, emergencies, mobilizes energy. Parasympathetic is rest and digest, conserves energy, promotes relaxation, growth, repair. These two are constantly working together, ideally, to maintain homeostasis, that internal balance and equilibrium.
So homeostasis is good. Relaxed, safe, efficient. What happens when we're stressed?
Stress throws us into incoherence. We feel out of balance, anxious, unfocused. The body gets stuck in survival mode. Chronic stress, it's like flooring the gas pedal, sympathetic, and slamming on the brakes, parasympathetic, at the same time. He just wears the body down, drains our vitality, erodes our resilience. And the long-term effects can be catastrophic. Heart disease is a prime example. The scary part is, many people don't even realize they're living in chronic stress until something major breaks down. That's why resilience, which HMI defines beautifully as the capacity to prepare for, recover from, and adapt in the face of stress, is so vital. It's about managing our energy.
You shared the intense story about the cougar encounter. That really highlights the difference between acute necessary stress and chronic detrimental stress.
Oh yeah, unforgettable. Hearing that growl, instantly my whole system shifted. Narrowed focus, racing heart, senses on high alert, pure fight or flight. In that moment, it was absolutely essential for survival. You need that reaction. But here's the problem. If you spend your daily life perpetually hooked into that same state, even without a real cougar at the door, just reacting to emails, traffic, worried thoughts, it locks you down. It literally prevents you from going within, from opening your heart, from being vulnerable enough to create something new. You can't easily allow new information into your nervous system if it doesn't match your current survival emotion. That's why being addicted to stress hormones makes it so hard to create, to open up, to trust. It keeps the door to the future closed.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, shifting gears slightly, the heart's independence, it's autorhythmic.
Yes, which is pretty amazing. It initiates its own beat. It doesn't wait for a signal from the brain. Like we said, it starts beating in the fetus weeks before the brain is even formed. You can remove a heart from a body under the right conditions, and it will keep beating for a while. It has its own intrinsic intelligence.
And this connects directly to our emotions and the nervous system.
Intricately. The heart contains nerve pathways from both the sympathetic and parasympathetic branches. So every single emotion we feel directly influences the heart's rhythm. And that rhythm pattern is instantly communicated up to the brain and the central nervous system. It's this intimate feedback loop between the heart, the limbic brain, our emotional brain, and the ANS. An imbalance in one profoundly affects the others. And as we mentioned, science can now look at someone's heart rate variability, their HRV, and predict with about 75% accuracy what emotional state they're in.
Okay, HRV, heart rate variability. It's not about how fast the heart beats, but the changes between beats.
Exactly. It measures the flexibility and resilience of your heart and nervous system. It reflects your overall health and your mental and emotional balance. We used to think a perfectly steady, metronome-like heartbeat was the ideal, like a clock. But now we know that's wrong. A healthy heart has significant variability. It adapts beat by beat to what's happening. A flexible heartbeat is a healthy heartbeat.
And HMI found information hidden in those beat-to-beat intervals.
Yeah, like a complex language, almost like Morse code, encoded in the timing between the beats. They discovered that elevated emotions, appreciation, joy, care, gratitude, create these smooth, coherent, sine wave-like HRV patterns, very orderly. While stressful feelings, anger, frustration, fear, create jagged, chaotic, incoherent patterns. It's a direct physiological readout of your emotional state.
The implications seem huge. Moderate HRV suggests you adapt well. Low HRV predicts problems.
That's what the research shows. Low HRV is a strong predictor of future health issues and increased mortality risk across various conditions. But the exciting part is that the ability to consciously influence your ANS and achieve heart coherence. This skill that maybe seemed esoteric only for yogis is now being taught effectively to people in high-stress jobs. Military, police, executives. It proves it's a learnable skill. A practical, almost supernatural ability we can all cultivate.
And when we cultivate it, what happens biochemically and energetically?
When your heart becomes coherent, it sends this powerful, high-amplitude signal up to the brain. This triggers the release of beneficial chemicals that promote growth, repair, and optimal function. The source mentions at least 1,400 positive biochemical changes. You're literally signaling your body to thrive. And energetically, you move from drawing energy from the field around you in stress to actually expanding your body's energy field. Contrast that with negative emotions like anger or frustration. They trigger around 1,200 different chemicals that drain your body's energy, deplete your resources, make you more vulnerable. And then there's the magnetic field. The heart produces by far the strongest magnetic field in the body. It's measurable several feet away from the body. This field carries information and influences every single cell. This is where the heart's influence moves beyond just biology and firmly into the realm of physics. It affects the energetic field.
And this heart coherence directly impacts brain function, too.
Absolutely. EEG studies at HMI show that when the heart goes coherent, the brain waves naturally synchronize or entrain to the heart's rhythm. They fall into this optimal performance state, often associated with heightened intuition. Students practicing this often report profound insights or even mystical experiences when their brainwaves dip into deep delta states while remaining conscious. The energy generated by the coherent heart can amplify the brain's energy output significantly 50 to 300 times normal. Other research confirms this energetic heart-brain communication via electromagnetic fields. The heart acts like an amplifier, creating coherence throughout the system and beyond.
What about the thymus gland? You mentioned its connection.
Right, the thymus sits right behind the breastbone, very close to the heart center. It's crucial for immunity. It's where T cells mature. It naturally shrinks with age, and long-term stress definitely impacts it negatively. But when you activate the heart center, generating coherence, you engage the parasympathetic nervous system, rest, repair, build. This actually energizes the thymus gland, supporting robust immune function, overall vitality, and long-term health. We saw that specific example. Students sustaining gratitude for just 15-20 minutes daily for 4 days showed significantly boosted levels of IgA, a key antibody for frontline immune defense.
So the takeaway is the quality of our heart's rhythm profoundly impacts everything.
Everything. A harmonious, coherent rhythm reduces stress system-wide, maximizes energy, helps you thrive. A disharmonious, incoherent rhythm drains energy needed for healing and maintenance, puts extra strain on organs. By intentionally choosing elevated emotions, practicing gratitude, cultivating coherence, you are actively, positively transforming your body's internal environment. The worst thing that can happen, as the source says, is you begin to heal.
When we're stressed, that incoherent heart signal kind of jams our ability to create, right? But when we're heart-centered, feeling whole,
that coherent signal opens the door. We feel oneness, less separate from our dreams. Our subconscious becomes more receptive to programming the ANS for that desired future. Remember, every thought creates chemistry, which creates an emotion. And we become suggestible primarily to thoughts that match our current emotional state.
That alignment is critical, isn't it? Thinking one thing but feeling another doesn't work.
Exactly. You can try to think thoughts of abundance all day long. But if you're feeling fear or lack, those thoughts don't really land in the body. They don't carry the necessary charge. The feeling, the elevated emotion sustained in the heart, that's the magnetic charge that signals your ANS, that guides your body into a new destiny. It carries the intention. If you can sustain those elevated emotions daily, your body starts to believe the event has already happened. Why? Because emotions are usually the end product of experiences. So feeling the emotion before the experience signals new genes in new ways. That heart-mind coherence changes your chemistry, your energy, your biology. You embody the future.
So the practice is daily, intentional heart activation. Living by the heart, as the source puts it.
Yes, and when you truly live by the heart, choices based on love, compassion, care for yourself and others become natural, not forced.
And the workshops use technology, the HRV monitors, to help people learn this.
Right. It gives real-time feedback. Students learn to consciously regulate their heart rhythms, generating that coherence through specific techniques focused on gratitude, appreciation, joy, love. With daily practice, this starts to overwrite those old negative mental loops. People literally begin to fall deeply in love with their lives, as the source describes it. We've seen enough evidence now to know that people can produce measurable, positive changes in their health, their relationships, their finances, just by shifting their internal state, their thoughts and feelings. And those positive changes, they ripple outwards, affecting families, workplaces, communities, expanding that field of coherence.
It creates this positive feedback loop then. Elevated emotion, new thoughts, new mind, sustains the emotion, reconditions the body.
Exactly. Rewires the brain, reconfigures the biology. You start broadcasting a completely different electromagnetic signature into the unified field. That signature is who you are becoming.
It's profound when you think about history.
Oh, absolutely. You could argue countless conflicts, centuries of suffering have been driven by incoherent emotions. Fear, anger, separation. But now we're at this pivotal point. We have the scientific understanding to manage our emotions more effectively, to cultivate coherence intentionally. And we understand what that means for our health, our relationships, our energy, our collective future. It doesn't require superhuman effort, just changing our internal state. This allows us to interact differently, to replace stress with experiences of wholeness, connection, unity. The brain thinks yes, but the heart, when used as an instrument of perception, the heart knows.
Let's look at some workshop data. Brain scans showing coherence.
Yeah, they're quite striking. You see someone start in a typical busy, desynchronized beta brainwave state. Then, just seconds after they intentionally create heart coherence, their entire brain shifts. It synchronizes, becomes coherent, often moving into smooth, rhythmic alpha waves. It beautifully illustrates how the coherent heart acts as an amplifier, bringing the brain into harmony.
And people can learn to sustain this coherence for long periods.
Definitely. Figures in the source show students holding heart coherence for 50 minutes, 38 minutes, nearly 45 minutes during different meditation sessions in a single day. That shows real skill development through practice. And then there was that amazing example of super coherence. A student spontaneously went into this incredibly deep, loving state of heart coherence for over an hour just while getting ready for bed. They described it as an overwhelming feeling of love for their life. Had to just lie down and surrender to it. Not a bad way to end the day, right?
Not bad at all. It makes you think. We know how easy it is to condition ourselves to fear, right? Ruminate on worst-case scenarios, feel the anxiety, maybe even trigger a panic attack, an autonomic response. But what if we flipped that? What if we practice conditioning our bodies to the mind of love and coherence with the same dedication? Could we look forward to having, like, an autonomic love attack, a spontaneous upwelling of joy and connection?
That's a fantastic way to frame it. And the data suggests it's possible. We see more examples of students holding coherence for over 45 minutes. We also see people with initially very poor, unhealthy HRV patterns showing significant improvement after just 8 to 15 minutes of practicing heart coherence techniques. The body can learn a new state.
Okay, so for you listening, let's outline that practical heart coherence meditation again, based on HMI's technique.
Okay, simple steps. First, close your eyes, let your body relax. Bring your awareness inward, specifically to the center of your chest, your heart space. Second, start breathing a little slower and deeper than usual. Imagine breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. If your mind wanders, gently guide your attention back to your heart, your breath. Third, while keeping your attention gently resting in that heart center, consciously cultivate an elevated emotion. Think of something you're grateful for. Feel appreciation, joy, care, maybe unconditional love. Really feel it expanding in your chest as you continue the slow, rhythmic breathing. Fourth, once you feel that emotion growing, imagine sending that energy out beyond your body. Let it radiate outwards all around you. You can even marry it with the specific intention you have for your future. Broadcast that coherent energy and intention into the field. Start with maybe 10 minutes a day. As you get comfortable, gradually extend the time. Consistency is key.
And eventually you can practice this with eyes open during the day. Little coherence boosts.
Exactly. Once you know the feeling, you can recall it quickly.
Yeah.
Set a reminder on your phone maybe.
Yeah.
When it goes off, just take 60 seconds. Focus on your heart. breathe, feel gratitude. It helps maintain that coherent state throughout your day.
Okay, this next part is fascinating. We've talked about internal states. Now let's look at how external forces like media shape us. And crucially, how we can flip that script. The source uses the term television programming quite deliberately.
Yeah, and the example given is powerful. Think about those commercials for, say, the shingles vaccine. They often start with maybe some unsettling music, then show these really graphic, maybe even grotesque images, actor portrayals, with fake lesions that look way worse than reality. Why? To evoke a strong emotional reaction. Fear, disgust. The moment your emotional state changes, bam, they have your attention. The stronger the emotion, the stimulus, the more you focus the response. This creates associative memories, linking the product or condition to that strong feeling.
So they hook you emotionally first, then comes the programming.
Exactly. They pair those shocking images or symbols with the emotional shift. That combination starts to open the door to your subconscious mind. Then the narrator comes in with suggestions. If you've ever had chickenpox, the shingles virus is already inside you. As you get older, your immune system weakens. 1 in 3 people will get shingles. It's designed to instill fear, helplessness, linking it to the natural process of aging. Words flash on the screen, reinforcing the message, often slipping right past your conscious analysis into the subconscious. It's like recording directly onto a tape. And the effect on our system. Your autonomic nervous system, which runs subconsciously, hears those suggestions, immune system weakens, and can actually take them as orders. Without your conscious awareness, your body might be programmed to lower its defenses. Then there's often that confusing bit the drug is supposed to boost immunity, but the disclaimer says don't take it if you have a weakened immune system. The very condition they just suggested you probably have or will have. This kind of dilemma disorients the conscious analytical mind while the subconscious programming continues. And those listed side effects, often they sound suspiciously like the direct effects of the negative programming itself. It really makes you question free will, doesn't it? If we're constantly being conditioned like this, making choices based on fear or suggestions we absorbed unconsciously.
It underlines that core idea. Hypnosis isn't necessarily about swinging watches. It's about disorienting the conscious mind, bypassing that analytical filter, making you highly suggestible to subconscious programming. Shock, confusion, strong emotion, they can all open that door.
Right. Let's look at brainwaves again. Normally, when you're alert, you're in beta brainwaves. Analytical mind is active. When you relax, maybe watching TV, your brainwaves slow down into alpha. The analytical neocortex quiets down. This allows easier access to the subconscious realm, the operating system housed in the midbrain, governing the ANS, habits, emotions. Ever see someone totally zoned out watching TV? You call their name, they don't even hear you. They're likely deep in a suggestible alpha state.
So suggestibility is basically how easily we accept information without analyzing it. More suggestible means less analytical and vice versa.
Precisely. And advertisers know this inside out. The goal of many commercials is to gently lull you into that alpha state so the message bypasses critical thinking. Repeat the exposure enough times, and you program a subconscious. Automatic responses reinforce neural pathways. The ad often creates the problem. Your immune system is weakening, and then conveniently offers the solution, their product.
And it's not just ads. Any shock or trauma can have a similar effect, right? Increasing suggestibility.
Absolutely. Intense emotional experiences can override the analytical mind. If highly charged information gets planted in the subconscious during that vulnerable state, the ANS will try to carry out those instructions, potentially impacting your physical health down the line.
And advertisers are strategic about when they deliver these messages.
Oh, yeah. Think about late-night TV. Melatonin levels are rising naturally, slowing your brainwaves down from beta towards alpha, theta, even delta as you drift off. You're at your most suggestible. Same thing in the morning, that groggy state as you wake up, moving from delta theta back into alpha beta. There's an open window. They're effectively programming your operating system just before you sleep or just as you wake.
Okay, this leads to a really practical piece of advice, a kind of rule of thumb for you listening.
Yeah. Don't watch anything on television, on the internet. Don't engage with any entertainment that depicts outcomes or states you don't want to experience yourself. Not just before bed, but ever. Protect your subconscious input.
Okay, so that's the negative programming. But can we reverse it? Use similar principles for positive change?
That's exactly the idea. We can undo negative programming and intentionally install unlimited beliefs about ourselves and our potential. This is where the tools used in the advanced workshops come in. The kaleidoscope and mind movies. The goal here is to deliberately create those suggestible alpha and theta brainwave states. But while your eyes are open and then expose yourself to positive, future-oriented information, it's about consciously accessing supernatural states rather than drifting into unconscious ones.
The kaleidoscope idea is fascinating, inspired by mystical experiences.
Yes, the source's author describes personal mystical experiences often involving these incredible visual patterns, circular, geometric, fractal-like, think of mandalas, but alive, three-dimensional, constantly evolving into more complex forms. Experiencing these patterns seemed to induce profound transformations, a sense of moving closer to source energy, the unified field. The insight was, maybe these transformative visual experiences aren't just for mystics anymore. Maybe we can use technology to help induce a similar state.
So they created a specific kaleidoscope video for the workshops?
Meticulously. They got a high-quality physical kaleidoscope from a family that had been making them for generations. Filmed it with a top-end cinema camera, using a special fiber optic lens to get right inside, capturing the patterns against a pure black background representing that infinite void, the quantum field. It took months to refine the video, ensuring smooth, seamless transitions between patterns, because any abrupt change could jolt someone out of the trance state. And a specific soundtrack was composed to enhance the effect.
What's the science behind why looking at a kaleidoscope might induce this state?
It's about bypassing the brain's usual perception networks. Kaleidoscopes show abstract, nonlinear geometric patterns, not familiar people, objects, places, or times. This tends to quiet down the analytical brain centers, particularly in the left hemisphere, which deals with knowns. As the analytical mind gets quieter, the right hemisphere associated with the unknown, creativity, novelty, spatial awareness becomes more active. This shift naturally makes you less analytical and more open, more suggestible, more ready to create something new and unknown. Brain scans in the source show this shift happening.
So, in the workshops, how is it used?
It's played on large screens in a dark room. The darkness helps increase melatonin, further facilitating the shift to slower brainwaves. Students are guided to relax, slow their breathing, consciously moving from beta into alpha and theta states while gazing into the kaleidoscope. This primes their brain, making it highly receptive and suggestible for the next step, the positive programming. It's like using the advertiser's technique, but for your own benefit.
Okay, the next step, Mind Movies. What are they?
Mind Movies is essentially a user-friendly software program. It lets you create your own personalized movie, a visual and auditory representation of your desired future self and future life. The core purpose is to serve as a powerful reminder that you can achieve your dreams, you can create the uncommon, you can become, in the source's terms, supernatural.
And what are the specific goals of creating and watching a mind movie?
There are four main ones. First, it helps you get crystal clear on your intention for the future. What do you really want? Second, it programs both your conscious and, more importantly, your unconscious mind for that specific new future. Third, by repeatedly experiencing the feeling of that future through the movie, you start to biologically change your brain and body as if the future has already happened. And fourth, it uses the power of association, pairing compelling images and words with inspiring music to build new neural networks and emotionally recondition your body to a new mind. It helps you literally remember your future.
The story of the founders, Natalie and Glenn Ledwell, is pretty amazing itself.
It really is. They had zero background in e-commerce, didn't even use YouTube much back then. Started with basically no money, deep in credit card debt, working 12-hour days out of their bedroom. But they were driven by this passionate belief in the tool's potential to genuinely help people manifest real changes.
And their secret weapon was using the tool themselves.
Exactly. They made their own mind movie. And they were specific. They put in target customer numbers, images representing industry respect, things they'd do after they succeeded, like travel. And they put in a really audacious goal for their launch, $1 million in sales. They watched this movie multiple times every single day to stay focused, motivated, and emotionally connected to that future, even when their current reality looked bleak.
And the launch itself was dramatic.
Unbelievably so. It was September 2008, right in the middle of the global financial crisis. Everything seemed stacked against them. Their email system crashed immediately. Their bank froze their merchant account because the sudden influx of sales looked like unusual activity. Chaos.
Yeah.
They hit $100,000 in sales in the first hour, $288,000 by the end of the first day, and $700,000 overall during the launch period from a program selling for just $97.
Wow, but the account was frozen. Did they get the money? And what about the $1 million goal?
It took 6 agonizing months to get the account unfrozen. But when they finally did, there was another twist. Because of the favorable exchange rate, when transferring the US dollars back to Australian dollars, they ended up earning an extra $250,000, which brought their total earnings to exactly $1 million. They hit their goal. And they attributed this incredible success, happening against all odds during a financial meltdown, directly to staying laser-focused on their future using their daily mind movie practice.
That's powerful. So how do you actually make one?
It's pretty straightforward with the software. You choose an uplifting, inspirational song that resonates with the feeling of your future. Then you select images, maybe short video clips, that represent aspects of that future, the health, the relationship, the career, the abundance, whatever it is. You sequence these visuals to tell its kind of story. And then you superimpose specific words, phrases, affirmations onto the images. Things like, I am healthy and strong, abundance flows to me easily, I am living my dream. It's using the same techniques as advertising, combining visuals, words, and emotion, but you're consciously programming yourself for the future you choose, moving your biology out of the past.
And in the workshops, the kaleidoscope and mind movie are used together.
Yes, synergistically. First, watch the kaleidoscope video to induce and sustain that receptive alpha-theta trance state with eyes open. Get the analytical mind out of the way. This opens the doorway between the conscious and subconscious. You become more suggestible, less likely to analyze or doubt, how could this possibly happen? So the kaleidoscope induces the trance state, and then immediately you watch your personalized mind movie. The mind movie becomes the new program, encoded directly into the receptive subconscious.
It's playing on how the brain hemispheres work, right?
Exactly. The abstract kaleidoscope engages the right hemisphere novelty, the unknown, spatial processing. The mind movie then provides the specific content, the new knowns you want to create, building the neural architecture for that future. By activating the right hemisphere first, you become more open and receptive to creating something genuinely new and unknown, defined in your mind movie.
Let's talk about the music component. It's more than just background noise.
Oh, way more. Music is incredibly powerful at recalling memories and emotions, isn't it? You hear a certain song and bam! You're instantly transported back to a specific time, place, feeling. It fires off whole networks of neurons associated with that past experience.
So the question the source poses is,
what if you could harness that power for the future? What if you create this movie of your desired future? Pair it with a song that deeply motivates and inspires you. A song that literally changes your state of being when you hear it, connecting you viscerally to the energy and feeling of your future memories. Mind movies are designed to do just that. Purposefully pair powerful future images with elevated emotions, all anchored by inspiring music. This combination helps create new, long-term future memories, shifting your biology out of the past. The images evoke the feelings you will have when you achieve that goal. The joy of health, the love of a relationship, the satisfaction of success. And the song, that's the magical interdimensional component. It sets the specific energetic frequency, the feeling signature of how you'll feel when that future actually unfolds.
And you add specific affirmations too, like my body is healing, wealth flows to me, I am unlimited.
Yes, those powerful I am statements or declarations of knowing. They reinforce the programming at a linguistic level.
So it becomes like your own personal music video, but for your future life.
That's a great analogy. And the idea is, through repeated viewing and listening, eventually just hearing your chosen song, even without the visuals, will automatically trigger your brain to recall the images and feelings of your new future. This repetition creates biological alignment. Your body, the unconscious mind, doesn't know the difference between a real external experience and an internal emotion created by thought and reinforced by the mind movie. It starts to believe it's already living in that future reality now. And remember, the environment signals the gene. Emotions are the chemical consequence of experiences. So if you can embrace the emotion of your future before the external experience happens, you are literally changing your body biologically, preparing it for that future. You're becoming it.
Okay, now this next step sounds really advanced. Dimensionalizing. A scene during meditation. Going beyond just watching the movie.
Yes, this is taking it much further than standard visualization, which is often quite two-dimensional, like watching a screen in your head. Dimensionalizing is about creating a full, multi-sensory, three-dimensional experience within your mind.
How does that work? What's the process?
It's multi-step. First, during meditation, you aim to unfold as pure awareness, pure consciousness, into the quantum field, that infinite black space, before you try to say anything specific. Just be awareness in the void. Then, from that state of pure potential, you choose one specific scene from your mind movie to focus on. This intention causes your brain to start filling in the details, adding sensory input and dimension. Next, you consciously engage your senses within that inner space. What's to your right, your left, above, below. You start to fill the scene with 3D structures, forms, textures. You might smell, sense, see detailed images, feel the environment. And the final step is to actually inhabit your future body within that dimensionalized scene. Feel your arms, your legs, your torso. Feel the muscles. Imagine yourself moving around, interacting within that future reality you've created internally.
The idea is to activate as much of the brain as possible.
Exactly. By simultaneously engaging the neural networks associated with all the objects, people, and places in that specific future space and time, plus engaging your sensory and motor cortices, feeling your body, imagining movement, you increase the chance of having what the source calls a full-on holographic IMAX-type experience. Brain scans shown in the source material during this type of meditation show widespread, coherent brain activity involving sensory areas, motor areas, proprioception areas, sense of body position. A huge amount of the brain lights up.
And people report these experiences feel incredibly real.
Often more real than any past external experience. That's a common description. Senses become heightened, but internally. People report smelling distinct fragrances, cologne, flowers, new car leather, feeling sensations like stubble on someone's face or wind on their skin, experiencing powerful surges of energy, hearing sounds clearly church bells, a specific dog bark, seeing colors with extraordinary vividness, even tasting things distinctly, coconut, chocolate, all generated internally.
So what's the significance of that, if it feels that real?
Think about it. Normally, our 5 senses plug us into external reality. That's how we experience the world. But in this profound internal experience, happening without input from the external senses, your brain and body are literally changing physiologically to match that future reality. They are firing and wiring as if the event has already occurred. This is why students often come out of these meditations saying, "You don't understand, I was there. I know it's going to happen because it already has happened inside me. I experienced it." That inner experience becomes the new baseline. And the energy of that powerful dimensionalized inner experience serves as the energetic template, the blueprint for the physical manifestation. The more energy you invest in it, the more detailed and real you make it, the more you emotionally embrace it before it happens physically, the stronger the energetic signature you broadcast and the faster you draw that future experience to you.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together now. Chapters 6, 7, and 8. The stories, the heart science, the reprogramming tools. It feels like they build towards this clear conclusion. Our internal world really does drive our external reality.
It absolutely does. And that's the whole structure of the advanced workshops described in the source. People retreat from their familiar lives, disconnecting from the constant external stimuli that reinforce their old personality, their old limitations. This creates space to be reminded of their true nature as, well, unlimited human beings. They spend days practicing techniques to cultivate heart coherence, brain coherence, building a stronger, clearer electromagnetic signature aligned with possibility, not limitation.
So there's a clear progression. First, do the inner work overcome the habits of the old self, get beyond the body's addictions, the environment's triggers, the predictability of time, slow down the brain waves, practice unfolding into that unified field, become more skilled at activating the heart center, sustaining those elevated emotions, and then once they're in that more coherent receptive state, tools like mind movies are introduced.
Exactly. By that point in a workshop week, students are in a very different state than when they arrived. They're more open, less analytical, more connected to their potential. They're ready to absorb and integrate information that aligns with the new self they are becoming, rather than just reinforcing the old self. Mind movies then function like a highly personalized, dynamic 21st century vision board. Used in conjunction with the kaleidoscope, it powerfully brings their intended future to life through repeated, emotionally charged experience. It provides clarity, focus, and a daily reminder of their intentions.
And the applications go way beyond just personal goals, right?
Oh, absolutely. The technology is being used in so many diverse ways, creating fulfilling relationships, generating wealth, supporting profound healing, manifesting dream careers. It's used with children and teens to help them envision positive futures, cutting through the overwhelm of modern life. Corporations are using it for team building, getting everyone aligned on a shared vision, feeling the success before it happens. Integrative health practitioners use it to help patients visualize vibrant health, support their healing journey, and maintain healthy lifestyle changes. It's even used to support people in addiction recovery or those seeking employment. The fundamental power lies in enabling people to consciously construct a new reality blueprint. Then, by consistently making new choices aligned with that future, demonstrating new behaviors, and living from those desired future feelings, they break the chains of old habits and reactions. So for you listening, the practical advice is really, it's entirely up to you how creative you want to get with shaping your future. A simple but powerful suggestion is to watch your mind movie first thing in the morning and again right before you go to sleep.
Why those specific times?
Because that's when your brain is naturally moving through those suggestible alpha and theta states. The doorway between conscious and subconscious is most open. Watching it at night lets your subconscious mind mull over and integrate that future while you sleep. Your body literally rests in the energy of its future. It might even generate solutions or insights in your dreams. Watching it first thing in the morning primes your brain and body, setting a positive, focused trajectory for your day. Reminds you who you are tending to be. The key, though, whenever you watch it, is to be fully present. Engage your attention and your emotions.
And the results people report are pretty compelling.
Countless testimonials. Manifested homes exactly as pictured, dream vacations appearing out of the blue, soulmate relationships forming, unexpected financial abundance, career shifts, remarkable healings, relief from long-standing issues, even profound mystical experiences occurring in daily life. It might seem like magic, but the source argues it's the predictable result of conscious creation, learning the principles and applying them consistently, aligning yourself energetically with your chosen destiny.
I like the analogy of the mind movie being like a radar device tracking your future.
It's a great analogy. By repeatedly visiting that future destination in your heart and mind, with feeling, you create an internal guidance system. Then your thoughts, choices, actions, experiences, even your emotions throughout the day start to function like course corrections, nudging you, guiding you, delivering you towards that target you've locked onto. The more you keep that future alive within you with your focused intention, your attention, your elevated energy, your love for it, the more powerfully you signal the unified field, and the more efficiently it unfolds as your new reality. You remember your future into existence.
And that pattern recognition idea is crucial too. You need the internal map before the territory appears.
Yes, your brain needs the hardware, the neural architecture built in advance. It needs to be familiar with the images, thoughts, and especially the feelings associated with your mind movie future. Why? Because if that amazing new opportunity, that perfect partner, that dream house suddenly shows up in your external reality, but you haven't prepared your internal state for it, you might not even recognize it. Or worse, you might feel overwhelmed, intimidated, or fearful. This is too good to be true, instead of feeling certainty and readiness. There it is. Your energy, your emotional state, has to be a vibrational match for the opportunity when it arrives.
And it's inspiring that people make new ones because the old ones came true.
It really is. Many advanced students are on their third, fourth, fifth mind movie because literally everything they put into the previous ones has manifested in their lives. It's a powerful demonstration of that fundamental principle. Where attention goes, energy flows. They learn how to direct their energy effectively.
Okay, so let's recap those specific meditation steps for combining the kaleidoscope and mind movie for those who want the full workshop experience technique.
Right, the advanced practice. Step 1. Begin by centering yourself in your heart. Spend several minutes generating and radiating those elevated emotions, gratitude, joy, love, sending that energy out beyond your body into the space around you. Step 2. Consciously unfold into the present moment, becoming pure awareness in the unified field. Step 3. Once you feel present and coherent, open your eyes and gaze softly into the kaleidoscope video. Allow yourself to go into a light trance for about 8 minutes. Let the analytical mind drift away. Step 4. Immediately switch your gaze to your mind movie. Watch it for about 8 minutes, really absorbing the images, words, and feeling the emotions associated with your future. Step 5. You might repeat that kaleidoscope mind movie cycle. Over time, you'll find you can anticipate the next scene in your movie before it appears. That means it's becoming neurologically hardwired. You'll also strongly associate parts of the music with specific scenes. Step 6. For the final 7 minutes or so, go back to watching the kaleidoscope, but listen only to the music from your mind movie. No visuals from the movie. As you gaze into the entrancing kaleidoscope patterns while hearing your specific song, your brain, through association, will automatically recall the images and feelings of your future. This powerfully reinforces the wiring, embedding the future into your subconscious. Your brain is being programmed to look like the future, while the music evokes the emotions that signal the body biologically.
And the recommendation for practice outside of a workshop setting.
Daily consistency is key. Maybe commit to the tandem kaleidoscope mind movie viewing for a month, or at a minimum, watch your mind movie twice a day upon waking and before sleeping. And definitely keep a journal. It's amazing to track the wonderfully unexpected adventures and serendipitous happenings that start showing up. Looking back, you'll often see how these synchronicities perfectly mapped your journey towards manifestation. And yes, absolutely create multiple mind movies if you have distinct goals, one for health, one for career, one for relationships. Tailor them to your specific intentions. The possibilities are truly as unlimited as your imagination. Hashtag tag Dao Outro.
So bringing it all home, this deep dive through chapters 6 to 8 really paints a compelling picture. Our internal state, our thoughts, our feelings, the stories we tell ourselves, the coherence of our heart isn't just reacting to the world, it's actively creating it. The incredible transformations we heard about Ginny, Daniel, Jennifer, Felicia, they aren't just outliers or miracles. They seem to be demonstrations of universal principles available to all of us if we learn how to apply them.
It leaves you with a powerful thought, doesn't it? If we know our subconscious minds can be so easily programmed by external things we don't even consciously notice, like those commercials, then just imagine the immense untapped potential when we consciously, intentionally, and consistently program our own subconscious with the detailed blueprint of our most desired future. What hidden potentials, what extraordinary capabilities might you unlock when you commit to living from the heart and consciously creating your reality day after day?
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it sparks some new possibilities for you. We encourage you to explore these concepts further in your own life and discover the truly supernatural potential that lies within you. You know that feeling, don't you? After a really deep, powerful meditation, you open your eyes and you feel, wow, utterly transformed. Alive, clear, deeply connected, like you've just shifted your entire being. But then maybe as you step out the door, the world just rushes in.
Right. The traffic, the emails, that endless to-do list.
And suddenly it feels like all that incredible energy you built up just stayed right there on your cushion. It's almost like you've slipped back into an old pattern before the day even truly gets going.
It's a remarkably common experience, actually, and probably one of the biggest challenges for anyone really trying to live this work.
That disconnect.
Yeah, that disconnect between the profound internal state you cultivate in meditation and, well, the ingrained, often unconscious programs that automatically kick in during your daily life.
So when that happens, you're essentially leaving the energetic blueprint of your future self right where you were sitting.
Exactly. Instead of carrying it forward, into your actual reality.
And that's precisely what our deep dive is all about today. We're pulling knowledge directly from chapters 9 to 11 of Becoming Supernatural. And our mission, really, is to explore how you bridge that gap.
Because while sitting meditation is truly powerful, no doubt about it, maintaining that elevated state throughout your entire day is, well, that's the real game changer for manifesting your future.
So we'll uncover techniques, especially what's called walking meditation, that help you actually embody your future self and literally shift your reality.
And it's all backed by some truly surprising insights from quantum physics about the nature of reality itself. We'll show you why this matters, how it's supported by these powerful real-world experiences.
And give you practical steps you can try yourself. So if you've ever wondered how to make those meditation breakthroughs actually last, this deep dive is definitely for you. Let's unpack this. So as we just touched on, the challenge is this persistent disconnect. You've had an incredible sitting meditation session. You feel alive, clear, connected. Maybe you even feel like you transcended some deep-seated limitation.
Yeah, you feel on top of the world.
Right. But then almost without realizing it, you revert to old programs. Rushing around, getting irritated in traffic, maybe obsessing over past conversations.
You slipped out of that creative state and back into habitual patterns and survival emotions.
Yeah.
Your elevated energy feels, well, left behind.
Precisely. And this is where the concept of the body becoming the mind becomes incredibly important. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
How many times have you driven to work and then realized you don't remember a single moment of the journey?
Oh, totally. Or maybe you have certain nervous stereotypes, or a habitual posture you always fall into.
Yeah.
These aren't really conscious choices. They're unconscious behaviors. Your body, just through sheer repetition, has literally been programmed by your past experiences, keeping you kind of anchored there.
So if your body is living in the past,
then it's keeping your goals and visions, which, reside in a creative present state at arm's length.
Yeah.
You're just not in alignment.
Okay, so if our sitting meditation gets us into that elevated state and our body is kind of pulling us back, how do we stay there? Is this where the walking meditation comes in?
Exactly. It's a deliberate shift from that seated stillness to literally stepping into your future. That's really it. Its core purpose is to empower you to maintain and regulate those elevated internal states, regardless of your external environment.
So you learn to carry the elevated energy created in your meditation throughout your whole day.
Integrating it so it becomes your natural state of being. And when you do that, you start broadcasting a new electromagnetic signature into the quantum field, a clear signal aligning with your desired future.
I find the tuning fork analogy incredibly helpful here. It really makes it tangible, you know?
Yeah, it's a great one. Your future reality isn't just some vague desire.
Yeah.
It exists as unmaterialized energy in the quantum field, vibrating at a specific frequency, just like a tuning fork waiting to be struck. And if you, as an individual, become like that tuning fork and change your own energy to resonate within that same harmonic, that same frequency as your future possibility, well, you automatically connect and align with it.
So the longer you maintain that elevated frequency,
the more you entrain to it and your desired future finds you. Conversely, those lower survival-based emotions create dissonance. You become out of sync, and you simply recreate more of the same reality because your energy is vibrating equal to whatever you're reacting to.
Which, if I'm connecting the dots here, brings us back to chapter 3, right? Where we learned that getting beyond your identity, that whole no body, no one, no thing, nowhere, no time concept, that allows you to transcend the material realm and create from the unified field from an energy greater than matter.
You got it.
So the walking meditation kind of extends this, but in an active, eyes-open way, literally stepping into your new future while holding that elevated state.
That's it exactly. It's about bringing that deep internal shift out into your physical world. And the practice itself is quite specific.
Okay, so how do we actually do this walking meditation then?
Well, to start, it's probably best to find a quiet place, maybe in nature, just minimize distractions.
Yeah.
But honestly, with consistent practice, you'll find you can do this pretty much anywhere, walking in a mall, taking your dog for a stroll.
Right.
First, you begin just by standing still, eyes closed, resting your attention in your heart. Slow your breath, just breathing in and out of that center for maybe about 2 minutes.
Okay, focus on the heart, slow breathing, then what?
Then, for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, you consciously cultivate those elevated emotions. Deep gratitude, expansive joy, unconditional love, really feeling them in your heart, making sure it feels open and activated. Next, for a few minutes, you open your focus and radiate that energy beyond your body. Feel it not just within you, but all around you, staying profoundly present with that expansive feeling.
Okay, feel it expanding outwards. And then?
And as you hold that energy, you lay a clear intention for your day or your future onto it. Maybe radiating synchronicity, attracting a new job, or living a truly noble life, whatever it is for you. You're consciously broadcasting a new electromagnetic signature into the field.
Setting the intention while holding the feeling?
Exactly. Now, here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Maintain standing, eyes closed with that open focus. As you do this, your brain waves will naturally slow down from a busy beta state to a more relaxed alpha state.
Okay.
This induces a kind of trance-like condition. And this makes you highly suggestible, allowing new information and your intentions to program your subconscious mind and your autonomic nervous system, kind of bypassing the analytical mind that often resists change.
Wow. Okay, so you're more receptive in that state. And then you walk.
And then, the exciting part, you open your eyes and begin walking. But here's the crucial instruction. Do not look at anyone or objects directly. Keep your focus open like a soft gaze on the horizon and try to remain in that trance state.
So your mind stays connected to the images of your new future, not to, like, past programs or external distractions.
Precisely. This is critical.
Yeah.
You walk as your future self. Consciously alter your stride, your pace, your posture, even your breathing and facial expressions.
How so? Like, give me an example.
Well, perhaps you walk with a confident, open posture, or maybe a gentle smile instead of a blank stare. You embody the wealthy person, the courageous person, the healed person now. That feeling of gratitude implies it's already happened.
Okay.
Practice this for about 10 minutes, then maybe stop, recalibrate by closing your eyes and raising your energy again for a moment, then walk for another 10 minutes.
Got it. So we've outlined the mechanics, but what's truly fascinating is what's happening inside when you do this. You're not just moving your body, you're essentially programming your brain to literally remember a future that hasn't happened yet. How does that work, like at a neural level?
You've really hit on the core of it there. When you combine those elevated feelings with open eyes and lead with your heart, it naturally upgrades your neural circuitry. You're literally creating new inward experiences.
Okay.
And your brain begins to live in the future, not just by recalling the past. The more you embody those elevated emotions, the more your brain and body will reflect that the future experience has, in a sense, already occurred.
And the mind movies play a huge role here too, right? Those visual scenes of your desired future.
Yeah, absolutely. Flashing those scenes while embodying future emotions isn't just, wishful thinking. It's actually installing new circuits and producing the emotional chemicals that go with them.
Yeah.
You're conditioning your body for a new destiny.
So it's less about getting things.
And much more about becoming the person you intend to be.
Right.
The more consistently you become that person, the more reality naturally molds itself to your new state of being. The power is really in the repetition. Practicing daily makes this new way of being a habit, automatically programming a new personality.
Which in turn creates a new personal reality.
Exactly.
So you can apply this to daily life, even in small moments. Honestly, trying this during rush hour feels like the ultimate spiritual boot camp.
Can be. But yeah, instead of getting frustrated waiting for a friend who's late, you generate future energy. Instead of getting angry in traffic, you practice tuning into the energy of your future self.
Waiting in line at the grocery store.
Perfect time. Practice feeling incredibly grateful for your new life, walking as your future self right there in the aisle. It's about programming your autonomic nervous system into a different destiny moment by moment.
It's one thing to hear about these concepts in theory, but wow, they become so much more powerful, almost undeniable when you see them in action. And you have some truly inspiring case studies, right? Individuals who defined themselves by a vision of their future daily and became, well, more supernatural.
These stories serve as incredible evidence, really. They highlight how consistent application of these principles can lead to profound, sometimes unbelievable shifts in reality. They show the direct results of embodying this work.
Okay, let's start with Tim. He attended an advanced workshop, apparently dressed as his supernatural Swami future self, and received a symbolic key to his future. But his real struggle was years of trying to surrender fear, only to realize it masked a deeper feeling of unworthiness.
Yeah, and his mind movie specifically featured gold and silver coins. For him, they symbolize not just wealth, but a profound sense of worthiness. He actually preferred the word affluence, meaning to flow toward, because it emphasized receiving rather than just acquiring.
Interesting distinction. And his breakthrough, I heard he considered himself very analytical.
He did, but continuously watching his mind movie combined with using a kaleidoscope actually helped bypass that analytical mind. During one meditation, he felt this intense joy, a burning love, an ecstatic energy download. He described it like a spigot from his head, his palms turning over uncontrollably.
Wow.
He truly believed this experience rewrote his DNA, erasing the old, unworthy self.
And the manifestation was pretty direct, wasn't it?
Swift and incredibly precise. Days later, a friend, completely unprompted, made him executor of her will, bequeathing him $110,000 in gold and silver coins.
No way!
Along with the literal key to her safe deposit box. It directly matched the imagery in his mind movie and the symbolic key from the workshop. Just an undeniable synchronicity, a physical reflection of his internal shift.
That's incredible. Then there's Sarah. Severely injured back, agony, scheduled for surgery. Yet she still refused a wheelchair to get to a workshop. That's dedication.
Intense dedication. Her vision, captured in her mind movie, was herself, healthy, strong, running, playing sports, and doing aerial yoga.
Aerial yoga with a bad back. That's a bold vision.
It was. Her intention during meditation was focused purely on healing, and she vividly felt her sciatic nerve pulsing with this warm electric current. Then on the third day, after carrying the image of aerial yoga in her mind, she had what she called an IMAX-like sensory experience during a meditation.
What happened?
She literally couldn't find the floor. She felt like she was swinging freely, living her mind movie scene without relying on her physical senses at all. It was like enough circuits in her brain had turned on to make that internal experience completely real.
And the outcome?
All her pain instantly vanished. Gone.
Yeah.
She knew she was healed, and she continues to manifest from her mind movie. It just demonstrates the incredible power of the mind to influence the body, even to this degree.
Yeah, transcending what medicine often deems possible.
It's a powerful example of how the body can experience a new, coherent, elevated frequency, raising its vibration. Disease, which is often an incoherent frequency, can simply cease to exist in that new energetic state.
Amazing. And finally, Terry. She had a truly profound experience during her walking meditation in Australia, right? Intending to embody worthiness for her future.
Yes, along the Sunshine Coast. She felt this intense electric charge move from her crown all the way down to her heart, causing uncontrollable leg shaking. She described it as a voltage of energy. She lost conscious control, burst into tears, and felt huge amounts of what she called dense dark matter literally falling away from her. This included trauma from this life and even past lifetimes, the profound impact of her father's suicide attempt, deeply ingrained limiting beliefs. Just gone.
What an immense release that must have been.
Absolutely. She experienced true liberation, an overwhelming feeling of love, peace, and oneness. She felt deeply reconnected and more profoundly herself, reminded that she is an aspect of divine energy and entirely worthy of receiving it.
These stories, they aren't just incredible anecdotes, are they? They feel like powerful examples of how consciously embodying a future state can literally reshape your personal reality.
That's exactly what they are. They're testaments to the process.
Okay, these stories of Tim, Sarah, and Terry are truly inspiring, almost unbelievable in a way. But what if they're not just miracles, but maybe predictable outcomes of universal laws?
That's the deeper question, isn't it?
Yeah, to really grasp how these transformations are possible, how our attention can literally manifest our desired reality, we need to pull back the curtain on something even more fundamental, the very nature of reality itself. We need to look at this profound distinction between what's called space-time reality and time-space reality.
Indeed. Our everyday world, what we call space-time reality, is our familiar 3D universe. Uni, meaning one, it's a single linear progression of people, objects, places, and time, primarily made of matter.
And we experience it through our five senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, smell.
Right. And it's important to recognize that without our senses, physical objects don't really exist to us. They might be there, but we're not perceiving them.
Okay. And in this realm, space feels infinite when we look out at the stars, right?
Yeah.
But how do we experience time in this 3D world?
Well, we experience time essentially by moving our bodies through space. Think about walking from your living room to the kitchen. You move from one point of consciousness, your chair, to another, maybe the refrigerator. To close that gap, you physically move through space, and that movement is time. This is the foundation of Newtonian physics, a world of knowns, predictable outcomes, where things take linear time to manifest.
So we're constantly moving from one known point to another. And because we primarily use our senses, our attention is mostly on physical, localized things, this chair, that car, this person.
Exactly. And this focus on the physical can lead to a feeling of separation. You're here, your friend is over there, your dreams seem somewhere else in the future. Everything occupies one distinct position in space and time. It's a state of locality.
Okay, I get that. Now let's connect this to stress. How does that fit in?
Well, our identity and personality are often deeply rooted in memories of past experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Defining us as a body living in space and time, separate from our environment.
Mm-hmm.
When we're under chronic stress, our body consumes energy to produce stress chemicals, which essentially hyper-focus our senses on external threats, real or perceived.
Right, fight or flight.
Exactly. This makes us feel more like dense matter and less like expansive energy, effectively slowing our energetic frequency.
And this high-stress state causes our attention to constantly jump around to external threats, and we become obsessed with time, thinking about past problems, worrying about future anxieties.
Precisely. Our brains operate in high beta waves, leading to things like pain, anxiety, and general incoherence. It's a manic, almost frenetic state where we effectively give our power away to external people, things, or problems.
So these emotional addictions to survival emotions kind of tether our energy to this 3D reality?
They do, constantly reaffirming our current predictable reality. Living in stress makes us predictable matter trying to affect matter, which takes a lot of linear time to manifest anything new. Buying a house, finding a partner, getting a job, all seem to take this linear, predictable process in that state.
And the unknown becomes a scary, unpredictable place.
Very much so.
But then there's time-space reality, the quantum world. And this is where the rules fundamentally change and things get truly mind-bending.
Indeed. Quantum laws are pretty much the inverse of Newtonian physics. This is an inward expression of nature, an invisible field of information and energy that literally unifies everything.
Okay, unifies everything. And time?
In this dimension, time is infinite. It's eternal, meaning there's no linear past or future like we usually think of it. Everything is happening in the eternal present moment.
Wow. Okay. So the way to access this boundless, timeless realm is to become no body, no one, no thing, nowhere, and in no time. by disconnecting from your physical identity and the external world.
Precisely. You consciously shift from a narrow external focus, what you see, hear, feel, to an open focus, surrendering aspects of your limited self. Your attention shifts from the external world of matter to the inner world of energy, vibration, frequency, consciousness.
And doing that actually changes your brain.
Yes. This unification makes the brain more coherent, more whole. It opens the heart and activates the autonomic nervous system to restore balance. This is a state where we connect to the quantum field, the domain of oneness, unity consciousness, where mind and matter are actually unified.
No separation. And you mentioned something about moving between dimensions.
Right. In time-space, as you become aware of changes in the speed of frequency, you can actually move from one space to another, or even from one dimension to another. This means collapsing time allows you to experience different spaces or dimensions.
Okay. That's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is. But because infinite time allows for infinite spaces, dimensions, possibilities, and experiences, all existing simultaneously in the eternal, now your awareness, not your senses, is what accesses this realm.
And the atom itself illustrates this.
Beautifully. The outdated model of electrons orbiting a nucleus like tiny planets is simply wrong. Atoms are 99.99999% empty space. They are mostly energy.
That's still staggering every time I hear it.
Well,
mostly nothing.
Pretty much. So electrons don't just exist as tiny particles. They exist as waves of probability in an invisible energy cloud. And here's the real kicker. Thanks to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we don't know where an electron is until an observer, a mind, your consciousness looks for it. The act of observation collapses that wave of potential energy into actual matter, making it known and local.
And when you stop observing,
it returns to a state of pure possibility, the wave function becoming non-local again. This demonstrates that mind and matter are indivisible in the quantum realm. And this realm is inherently unpredictable from our usual linear Newtonian perspective.
So when we meditate with our eyes closed and practice that open focus technique,
you're deliberately putting your attention on energy, on space, on pure possibility, not on dense matter. You're investing your attention in the unpredictable and the unknown.
That's the bridge to the quantum.
That's the bridge. The speed of light is kind of the conceptual threshold. Anything material traveling faster than light would theoretically dematerialize into immaterial energy, leaving our 3D reality for something like a 5D or higher dimension. Time is the nexus for this transformation.
And the perfect illustration of this non-locality, this fundamental connectedness, is that experiment by Elaine aspect.
Exactly. He entangled two photons,
yes,
shot them in opposite directions, and when one was observed and collapsed, the other vanished at the exact same instant, instantaneously, regardless of distance. It proved that all matter, our bodies, other people, physical things, even time as we perceive it, are connected by an invisible field beyond 3D space and time. Information is communicated non-locally without any discernible time delay. There's no true separation.
It's a state of oneness.
So by taking your attention off somebody, someone, something, somewhere, in some time, you become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, no time. Pure consciousness merging with the unified field. That is how you cross that threshold.
Okay, this brings us to the very source of everything then, the unified field itself. What exactly is it? Can we even define it?
Well, we can try. Think of it this way. Matter vibrates at the slowest frequency.
Yeah.
As you raise its frequency, it literally dematerializes into energy. Yeah. Beyond the visible light spectrum that our senses pick up, the information about matter converts to more unified, more coherent energy. In this realm, duality, good-bad, light-dark, and polarity begin to unify, transforming into pure love or wholeness.
So the higher the frequency, the more orderly and coherent the energy is, and the more love it carries.
That's the idea. It's like approaching a zero-point field, a point of singularity, an omnipresent field of information and energy that organizes reality from a single point. Some call it the mind of God or unity consciousness.
Implying that everything truly starts from a conscious thought, from a blueprint of information.
That's the perspective. In the hierarchy of universal laws, quantum laws fundamentally trump Newtonian. As Einstein famously put it, the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. It's a self-organizing intelligence that governs all matter.
That's fascinating. So the more you surrender to this field, move closer to it, become one with it, the less separation or lack you feel.
And the more wholeness and oneness you experience. But the very first step, and this is crucial, is simply to become aware of it. If you're not aware of it, it simply doesn't exist for you.
Like your big toe, you don't notice it until you put your attention on it.
Exactly. The more awareness you place on the unified field, the more it expands in your reality. And it often shows up in your life as unknowns, serendipities, synchronicities, unexpected opportunities, moments of luck, profound awe.
So it's a divine, loving intelligence.
That's how it's often experienced.
Yeah.
And focusing your attention on it causes the divine, that intelligence, to appear more profoundly in your life.
Okay, what's truly profound is that you say 3 distinct things happen when you consistently interact with this unified field. First, you carve a new neurological pathway.
Yes, your consistent journey into the field creates a neurological highway, essentially from your thinking brain to your autonomic nervous system. The more you use it, the thicker and more ingrained that pathway becomes, making it easier to merge with the field over time.
And easier for your body to follow your conscious intentions.
Precisely.
Second, your brain and body actually undergo tangible changes.
This profound experience literally enriches the brain's circuitry. It's like installing the hardware needed to perceive the field more deeply.
And the body.
Your body experiences a new, coherent, elevated frequency, literally raising its vibration. This is where you can see instantaneous health changes, because disease is often an incoherent frequency within the body. Elevated emotions literally signal new genes to express themselves in healthier ways.
Wow. And the third thing?
You begin to hear and experience knowledge differently. You meet truth on a completely new level. It's as though you've awakened and can now perceive a whole spectrum of life that your brain previously lacked the circuitry for.
So consistent connection to this source leads to behaving more like it.
Its nature becomes your nature. You find yourself becoming more patient, more forgiving, more present, more loving, more selfless. It's the ultimate truth of what you seek is truly seeking you.
The discipline, then, is really about allowing your consciousness to merge with this greater consciousness.
Yes. To surrender deeper into intelligent love, to truly trust the unknown. It's about continuously surrendering aspects of your limited separate self to join the greater unified self, to lose yourself in nothingness in order to become everything.
So relax into an infinite deep sea of coherent energy.
Continuously let go of control, allowing yourself to unfold deeper into oneness and feel greater and greater degrees of wholeness. Moment by moment. Become aware of it, pay attention to it, experience it, be present with it, and feel this unified field without returning your awareness to 3D reality, without relying on your senses, just pure, expanded awareness.
And this is why it all matters so profoundly for manifestation, because wherever you think you are, or whoever you think you are, things already exist as thoughts, as possibilities in this quantum realm.
You just need to become aware and then observe them into being. If you return to old thoughts of pain or problems, your energy vibrates at that old, dense 3D level, which limits your effect on reality.
So getting beyond yourself means forgetting your old personality and past reality.
Exactly. To heal, you must get beyond your body, which holds the memory of disease. To create something new, you must forget your old life. To change a problem, you must get beyond its memory and the emotions attached to it. To create a new future, you have to stop anticipating the predictable past based on memory.
You have to move to a greater consciousness.
Yes. In the unified field, there's no lack. There, you are everywhere, everything, everyone, everybody, in infinite time.
And creating from that state of wholeness means you already feel you have it.
Which leads to a state of knowing and observing, rather than wanting, trying, or hoping. This connectedness is absolutely key. Less perceived separation between you and the unified field leads to less space and time between you and your dreams.
And this wholeness is reflected directly in your biology.
And fundamentally, a greater frequency means faster manifestation.
Theoretically, then, this means we can create anybody, become anyone, have anything, live anywhere, and be in any time. Well, that's truly becoming supernatural.
This is the potential.
Okay, to bring all this powerful knowledge into a practical application, let's walk through a concise, step-by-step summary of the space-time, time-space meditation for you listening, so you can apply it in your own life.
Great idea. First, just rest your awareness on your heart. Become conscious of your breathing, allowing it to flow in and out of this center, slowing and deepening for about 2 minutes.
Okay, heart focus, conscious breathing. Step 2.
Then, call up an elevated emotion, maybe gratitude, joy, or love. Sustain this feeling, really feel it, and then radiate that energy beyond your body into the space around you for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Feel it expand.
Got it.
Then music.
Yes. Next, use an inspiring instrumental song. Really important. No lyrics for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Let it actively pull your mind out of your body, transforming any lingering survival emotions into those elevated ones with real intensity.
Okay. Use the music to intensify the feeling. And after that,
continue with instrumental music. But now shift into becoming pure consciousness. No one, no body, no thing, nowhere in no time. Just unfold your awareness into the unified field for another 10 to 15 minutes.
Become pure awareness, then the final stage.
Now you consciously connect to everyone, everybody, everything, everywhere, and every time, unifying with that greater consciousness in the unified field. Become aware, pay attention, stay present, and feel the field moment by moment, experiencing profound wholeness and oneness. Maintain this state, surrendering deeper and deeper into it for maybe 10 to 20 minutes.
Okay, connect and feel that oneness.
Oh.
And when you're complete,
Gently bring your awareness back. But this time, consciously intend to return to a new body, a new environment, and a whole new time, knowing you've stepped into your future during that connection.
wow, that's a powerful practice. So a final thought for everyone listening. If your very awareness, your observation can quite literally collapse potential energy into matter, what new realities are you ready to observe into being simply by shifting where you place your attention and your energy?
Yeah, it invites you to consider how these profound principles might apply to your own daily life. It's not just about what you do during a formal meditation, but who you become in every single moment. That really is the path to becoming supernatural.
Today we're embarking on what feels like a truly mind-bending journey, really exploring the cutting edge of human potential.
It definitely pushes boundaries.
Right. So our mission for this session is to delve into chapters 12 through 14 and the afterword of becoming supernatural. It's just such a fascinating landscape, where science, ancient wisdom, and these incredible personal transformations all seem to converge.
Absolutely. It's a rich tapestry.
We're here to basically pull out the most surprising facts and powerful insights on how our minds and bodies are intricately connected to something called the quantum field.
And how understanding that connection isn't just theoretical.
Exactly. How this understanding can actually lead to extraordinary experiences and maybe even help foster a more coherent, peaceful world. So, yeah, get ready to have your perceptions challenged and your curiosity really sparked.
It's definitely an exploration into the very fabric of reality and, well, our place within it. We're going to unpack the biological mechanisms, the how behind experiences that seem to defy our everyday understanding.
The stuff that sounds almost impossible.
Right. And then maybe even more powerfully, connect those individual transformations to a larger collective impact on the planet itself. It's about understanding not just what happens in these profound states, but how it happens and, most importantly, why it matters to you.
Okay, let's jump right in then. There's this foundational premise that really gets the gears turning. When our consciousness moves beyond our usual physical senses, like when we transcend the familiar everyday world, our brains start processing incredibly high amplitudes of energy.
Yeah, this isn't just a feeling.
No, it's observable. We've seen it time and time again in brain scans of advanced meditators. These inner experiences, they don't just feel profound, they actually feel more real, more vivid than anything you'd encounter through your eyes or ears.
It's like a biological upgrade is happening.
It really suggests that. So this begs the central question, doesn't it? What exactly is happening in the brain to explain this? Well, this seemingly supernatural effect, how can we have these incredibly amplified sensory experiences without our physical senses even being involved?
That's the million-dollar question, absolutely. Yeah. And to frame it, maybe we can think about 4 fundamental states of consciousness.
Okay.
There's wakefulness, right? We're aware, interacting with our environment. Pretty standard.
Our default mode.
Exactly. Then there's sleep, that period of, unconscious restoration. Then we have dreaming in altered state where the body's pretty much catatonic, but the mind engages in really vivid inner imagery.
Right, the movie theater in your head.
Kind of, yeah. And finally, there are these transcendental moments. These are experiences that seem to exist beyond our typical understanding of reality. Moments that often fundamentally change our perception of the world forever.
Those peak experiences.
Precisely. Yeah. Our focus in this deep dive is squarely on the biology, the chemistry, the neuroscience behind these transcendent experiences. And a key player, maybe the key player in this whole process is a tiny yet incredibly powerful molecule you might already know. Melatonin.
Ah, melatonin. Yeah, most of us just think of it as, the sleep hormone. Oh, yeah. But you're saying it has a much more dual and frankly profound role, all thanks to where it comes from, the pineal gland.
Exactly. It's not just about sleep.
So walk us through its daily rhythm. How does that work?
Okay, so during the daytime, when light hits your iris, Receptors in your optic nerve send a signal straight to what's often called your body's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus.
The master clock, got it.
Its master clock then signals the pineal gland, which dutifully starts producing serotonin. Serotonin is your daytime neurotransmitter. It basically tells your body, okay, time to wake up, process sensory info, focus your attention out there on the world.
And this is linked to certain brainwaves.
Yeah, typically associated with beta brainwaves, that alert, active state we spend most of our waking hours in, thinking, analyzing, doing.
Makes sense. And then as night falls, I'm guessing the whole process just flips?
Exactly right. As the light diminishes, the inhibition of those light signals goes back to the pineal gland. But now, instead of making serotonin, the pineal gland performs this amazing transformation. It transmutes that serotonin into melatonin.
The nighttime neurotransmitter.
Precisely. As melatonin gets released, your brain waves start to slow down, from beta into alpha. That's when you start feeling sleepy, relaxed.
That wind down feeling.
Yeah. Then, as you drift deeper into sleep, your brain waves move through theta and then into delta, inducing those periods of deep restorative sleep and also, interestingly, vivid dreaming. This whole back and forth establishes your circadian rhythm, your internal clock. It basically entrains you, syncs you up with the external light-dark cycle.
Which is why, like, when you travel across time zones, you get jet lag.
Absolutely. Jet lag is a direct disruption of this finely tuned chemical rhythm. Your body's clock is out of sync with the environment.
Okay, so how does the body actually pull off that chemical switcheroo from serotonin to melatonin? What's happening, like, molecule-wise?
It's a beautiful bit of biochemistry. At a molecular level, melatonin production starts with an essential amino acid called L-tryptophan. You get that from food.
Okay.
Within the pineal gland, L-tryptophan undergoes a series of chemical changes through a process called methylation. Think of methylation as the body just adding a tiny group of atoms, like a little chemical tweak.
But it changes everything.
Completely changes the molecule's properties.
Yeah.
So L-tryptophan first converts to 5-HTP, then that becomes serotonin, which is, more stable molecule. Then serotonin gets converted into N-acetylserotonin, and finally, one more reaction turns it into melatonin.
Wow, quite a production line.
And all happening right there in your tiny pineal gland. It's also worth noting, and this becomes important later, that melatonin production naturally peaks between about 1 a.m. and 4 a.m.
Okay, peak production time. Got it.
Now, what's truly fascinating here, and really critical for understanding stress and transcendence, is the inverse relationship between our adrenal cortisol levels, our stress hormones, and melatonin.
So more stress, less melatonin.
Exactly. As cortisol levels go up, melatonin levels plummet. This is precisely why you struggle to sleep when you're stressed or anxious. Your body's like, threat detected, stay alert.
A survival mechanism.
Right. Primitive sense, it was vital. Staying awake to avoid a lion was more important than sleep. But in our modern world, chronic stress from, say, work pressure or relationship issues keeps this system switched on all the time.
Makes it maladaptive.
Totally maladaptive.
Yes.
It severely disrupts your body's natural balance, its homeostasis. But here's the key insight. If you can consciously break that stress response, lower that cortisol,
then melatonin can rise naturally.
Bingo. Melatonin levels will naturally increase, allowing your body to finally get back to those long-term building and repair projects it needs to do during rest. And melatonin does more than just sleep. Studies show it helps improve carbohydrate metabolism,
which links stress to storing fat.
It helps explain that connection, yeah. It also seems to aid with depression, and it can even increase DHEA, which is known as an anti-aging hormone. So it's not just about what melatonin is, but the fact that its creation pathway is biologically tied to transformation and well-being.
Okay, that's a powerful look at its natural role. But now let's shift gears to the really core mechanism here. How someone might intentionally activate the pineal gland for those, transcendental experiences. This is where it gets genuinely remarkable.
Right.
The book introduces this groundbreaking concept. The pineal gland functions as a neuroendocrine transducer with piezoelectric properties. Okay, break that down for us. Piezoelectric.
Okay, piezoelectric. Let's start there. Imagine squeezing a tiny crystal, like a quartz crystal. That mechanical pressure, the squeezing, somehow generates an electrical charge. That's the piezoelectric effect, basically pressure into electricity.
Okay.
The pineal gland, believe it or not, contains microscopic calcite crystals. They're made of calcium, carbon, and oxygen. And because of their unique structure, they have this piezoelectric property.
So squeezing the pineal gland creates electricity.
In essence, yes. It means the pineal gland can act like a little antenna that becomes electrically activated and even generates its own electromagnetic field. This allows it to potentially tune in to specific information. specific frequencies.
Wow. Okay, and the transducer part.
Right, a transducer.
Yeah.
Transducer is simply anything that receives a signal in one form of energy and converts it into another form. Think about your TV antenna.
Okay.
It picks up invisible radio waves carrying a signal, right? And then it transduces or converts that into the picture you see on your screen. Or in FM radio, it converts radio frequencies into the music you hear.
Got it. Different form of energy.
Exactly. So the pineal gland, as a neuroendocrine transducer, can receive and convert signals within the brain. But potentially, it can also pick up frequencies beyond our typical three-dimensional sensory reality frequencies, maybe from higher dimensions of space and time.
Whoa.
Once activated, the idea is it can turn the information carried on those frequencies into incredibly vivid imagery, surreal, lucid, truly transcendental experiences right there in your mind, like experiencing a multidimensional IMAX movie playing inside your head.
Okay, that's a wild concept. So if the pineal gland is like this quantum antenna, how do we actually activate it? How do we apply that squeeze, that mechanical stress to those tiny crystals to get this piezoelectric effect going and turn on our antenna?
It's described as a pretty precise biological choreography. First, you intentionally generate that piezoelectric effect. Remember those tiny calcite crystals? They're microscopic, like 1 to 20 microns long, maybe 100 to a quarter the width of a human hair.
It's super tiny. Now, as we've touched on in previous deep dives about the breath work, there's a specific technique. You pull energy up from your lower body centers, and doing that involves increasing something called intrathecal pressure.
Intrathecal pressure, like pressure inside the spinal column.
Sort of, yeah. Think of it like creating a gentle internal hydraulic lift. You're pushing cerebrospinal fluid, the CSF, up towards the pineal gland. And remember, piezoelectric comes from the Greek word piezein, meaning to squeeze or press. So the technique literally squeezes those crystals.
You're physically compressing them with fluid pressure.
Exactly. And that mechanical stress generates the electrical charge within the pineal gland. Now, what's even cooler is that the piezoelectric effect is reversible. Once the crystals are compressed and generating that electrical charge, the electromagnetic field created around the pineal gland actually causes the crystals to stretch out. When they can't stretch any further, they snap back, they contract, and the electromagnetic field reverses, moving inward, compressing the crystals again.
So it creates a pulse, a pulsating electromagnetic field. And by repeatedly doing the breath technique and holding that internal squeeze, you accelerate these cycles. The pulses get faster and faster. The pineal gland essentially becomes a rapidly pulsating antenna capable of picking up faster, more subtle electromagnetic frequencies, potentially from the quantum field.
Okay, step 1, squeeze the crystals. Create the pulse. What's next?
Step 2 is the pineal gland releasing its metabolites. As you continue this breath and the associated internal muscle contractions, that cerebrospinal fluid accelerates through the ventricular system in your brain.
The fluid pathways.
Right. It's a closed system moving this vital fluid up from the spine, through the brain chambers, and back down. Now, on the surface of the pineal gland are tiny sensitive hairs called cilia. This accelerated fluid rushing past essentially tickles or really overstimulates the pineal gland. This mechanical stimulation, combined with the electrical activation from the piezoelectric effect, causes the gland to, well, the book uses the word ejaculate, to release these profound upgraded metabolites of melatonin directly into the brain. You're literally waking up this tiny, powerful organ.
So you're stimulating it electrically and mechanically to release these special chemicals.
You got it. And the third crucial step is that energy gets delivered directly to the brain in a powerful surge. Think about launching a rocket. Getting energy up from your lower centers requires immense intensity, focused effort. Your breath becomes this passionate intention to break free from old emotional limits.
Right.
As you send these charged particles up your spinal column, increasing their velocity, they create something called an inductance field.
Inductance field. Like a magnet.
Sort of like a powerful vacuum cleaner effect. It reverses the usual two-way flow of information and energy, and it literally draws energy from your lower survival centers, the ones linked to orgasm, digestion, fight or flight, directly up to the brainstem in a spiraling motion.
Pulling energy upwards.
Exactly. As this energy ascends through each vertebra, it activates the peripheral nerves, the body's meridian system, energizing everything. Once this potent energy hits the brainstem, it passes through the reticular formation part of your brain that regulates wakefulness and attention.
Okay.
This opens the thalamic gate. Think of it as a relay station, which sends information surging into your neocortex, your thinking brain. And this leads to gamma, brainwave patterns.
Gamma waves, those are different from beta.
Very different. Beta waves, remember, are for survival mode. They expend energy. Gamma waves actually liberate and create energy. They're associated with states of incredible bliss, insight, expansive consciousness. Now, here's where it gets even wilder.
Go on.
As that energy moves up the spine, it creates a torus field picture, a swirling donut of energy around your body. But simultaneously, the activated pineal gland creates an opposite reverse torus field.
A reverse donut.
Yeah. And this reverse field actually draws energy into the body through the top of your head, pulling information from beyond the visible light spectrum, information from the quantum field itself.
So energy moving up and energy moving down.
Simultaneously. When these three processes, the piezoelectric effect, the metabolite release, and this energy surge with the torus fields all align and accelerate, the experience can feel, as the book describes it, like an orgasm in your head. It transforms your entire brain into this powerful antenna for quantum information, information from realms beyond matter, space, and time.
Wow. Okay, so when your pineal gland, your third eye, wakes up and starts picking up these higher frequencies, it's not just receiving information. You're saying these higher energies literally change the chemistry of the melatonin itself. That's profound.
Precisely. The higher the frequency the pineal gland tunes into, the greater this chemical alteration becomes. It's this translation of information, these higher frequencies, into actual chemistry that primes you for those truly transcendental, mystical moments. It opens the door to higher dimensions of perception.
It's like the gland is an alchemist.
That's a great way to put it. It transmutes regular melatonin into some incredibly profound, radical neurotransmitters.
Oh.
Almost like it's distilling these potent elixirs of consciousness.
Okay, so what are some of these upgraded chemicals?
All right, let's look at some specifics described in the source. As higher frequencies interact with the activated pineal gland, melatonin can first transmute into chemicals that are very similar to benzodiazepines.
Like Valium or Xanax?
Similar class, yeah. What this means for your experience is that they effectively quiet down, almost anesthetize your analytical mind. They suppress activity in the amygdala, your brain's fear and survival center.
So less fear, less anger, less agitation.
Exactly. Your body becomes calm, profoundly relaxed, yet your mind is incredibly awake and alert. It's a unique state. Next, the pineal gland can create a class of very powerful antioxidants called pinealanes.
Banalanes.
Yeah. Think of them as a supercharged antioxidant version of melatonin. They offer significant anti-cancer, anti-aging, anti-inflammatory benefits. It's like deep cellular restoration and healing being triggered.
Okay, benzos for calm, pinealanes for repair. What else?
Then, if you tweak that molecule further, it can apparently become a cousin of melatonin that acts like a hibernation chemical.
Hibernation, like for bears?
Kind of. It extends the body's rest and repair cycles, slows down your metabolism, and can cause a temporary loss of interest in the outer world. Even things like hunger or thirst seem less important.
Why would that be useful?
It allows for an even deeper internal focus. Your body's needs temporarily step aside, freeing up all your energy and attention for the inner experience. Move deeper still, and you might produce a phosphorescent, bioluminescent chemical.
Like a firefly, or...
Get this, the same chemical found in electric eels.
Seriously?
Seriously. This chemical seems to amplify energy within the nervous system, potentially causing a significant internal shock or a surge of energy. The thinking is this might be the rare chemical that allows the brain to handle those intense amplitudes of energy they measure in advanced students.
And what does that feel like?
It enhances internal imagery dramatically, creates vivid, surreal, glowing lights and colors beyond anything in our normal visible light spectrum. It can make the internal experience feel more real than external reality.
Yeah.
And finally,
there's more.
Alter melatonin just one more time, and you can produce dimethyltryptamine, DMT.
DMT, the spirit molecule.
Right, one of the most powerful hallucinogens known. Now, ingested DMT is usually a single chemical, but the theory here is that pineal activation delivers a whole blend of these profound chemicals together. This could lead to those really far-out experiences. Spiritual visions, profound time dilation, feeling like you're traveling through time, encountering spiritual beings, seeing complex geometric patterns.
Okay, let me try and wrap my head around this. So information from the quantum field, maybe traveling faster than light, isn't just passively received by the pineal gland. You're saying it literally changes the chemistry of melatonin inside the gland.
That's the core idea.
Translating these frequencies into actual potent elixirs, new messages within the brain, taking our internal experience from, natural to truly supernatural. That's a really powerful thought.
Absolutely. And this chemical alteration directly leads to what people often call the third eye experience.
Yeah.
The research defines the pineal gland as a crystalline superconductor that converts these energetic vibrational signals from the quantum field, frequencies beyond our normal senses.
Right.
And translates them into biological tissue, into the brain and mind, as meaningful imagery, like a super efficient receiver and converter, handling incredibly subtle energetic signals. Think of the TV antenna again.
Better reception, clearer picture.
Exactly. The higher the frequency it picks up, the clearer, the more immersive your inner experience becomes.
Yeah.
It goes from maybe a fuzzy, abstract feeling to this clear 360-degree IMAX 3D movie playing out in your mind.
And the pineal gland isn't working alone here, right? It has a co-conspirator, the pituitary gland.
It does, yes. The pituitary gland gets involved too. Once the pineal gland is activated and releasing its upgraded metabolites, the posterior part of the pituitary gland wakes up.
And what does it do?
It produces two incredibly important chemicals. First is oxytocin.
Ah, the love hormone or bonding hormone?
That's the one. When oxytocin levels rise, people report intense feelings of love, forgiveness, compassion, wholeness. It really feels like the beginning of experiencing unconditional love. There's that fascinating University of Zurich study, the trust game.
Tell me about that.
Participants were given oxytocin or a placebo. Those who got oxytocin kept investing the same amount of money even after being betrayed by others in the game. Brain scans showed dramatically reduced activity in the amygdala, the fear and anger center.
So oxytocin literally shut down their fear and anger response.
It strongly suggests that, yeah. It reduced their reliance on external positive feedback or validation. They just felt trusting and open.
Wow. Okay, oxytocin is one. What's the second chemical from the pituitary?
The second is vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone or ADH.
What does that do?
As vasopressin levels increase, your body naturally retains more fluids. You become more water-based.
Why is that important?
Well, water is a great conductor. To effectively process and translate these higher frequencies into your cells, your body needs to be a better conduit. More water helps facilitate this. Plus, this increase in vasopressin creates a positive ripple effect throughout your entire endocrine system. Thyroid, adrenals, sexual organs, all get a beneficial signal.
So the whole system gets tuned up.
Exactly. And when these profound, often unknown experiences occur, seeing what people describe as divine or sacred geometry, mandalas, the idea is the pineal gland is actively processing these coherent messages from the unified field. It's translated coherent standing waves of information into vivid, multidimensional, constantly evolving imagery.
Like cymatics, where sound makes patterns in sand.
That's a great analogy. Vibration, literally creating geometric patterns. In a way, the book suggests even using a kaleidoscope can help train your brain to recognize and surrender to this kind of complex, shifting imagery. It helps move the brain into alpha and theta states, priming the subconscious.
Makes sense.
Ultimately, when these deep, unknown, often beautiful experiences unfold, the choice you face is always, do I contract in fear because this is unfamiliar? Or do I surrender and trust the process? Choosing surrender inevitably seems to lead to even deeper transcendental states, wholeness, oneness, pure love.
So the core principle seems crystal clear then. The higher the energy or frequency you generate internally, the greater the change in your body's chemistry, and the more lucid, the more real your inner experience will feel.
Right.
To the point where in that transcendental state, you actually feel more awake, more aware than you do in your normal everyday reality.
And that's because these profound internal experiences aren't just fleeting moments. They literally assemble entirely new neural networks. They enrich and expand your brain circuitry.
You're building new connections.
Exactly. As your body processes these higher energies, that energy alters your chemistry. The resulting elevated feelings signal new genes to express themselves differently. You're effectively creating long-term memories from inner experiences just as powerful, if not more so, than external ones.
It's like a feedback loop.
A powerful self-reinforcing cycle. Higher energy creates higher consciousness, which leads to greater awareness and ultimately a broader experience of reality itself. Now, this raises a really important question.
Which is?
If all perception is fundamentally based on how our brain is wired, right, then these interdimensional experiences are actually neurologically rewiring the brain. They're enabling you to perceive what has always existed out there in the quantum field, but was previously imperceptible to your conditioned mind and senses.
So it's not creating something new, it's perceiving what's already there.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
This, in essence, is how mystics and masters throughout history might have transformed their own brains, allowing them to perceive a different reality, simply by tuning into their inner world and cultivating these extraordinary states of being.
And it really feels like ancient cultures had some deep, maybe intuitive understanding of this whole process, doesn't it?
Certainly seems that way.
I mean, think about that crop circle in the UK back in 2011. It looked remarkably like the chemical structure of melatonin. Was that just a wild coincidence? Or maybe something more?
Intriguing, right?
Or the way our limbic brain, the pineal, thalamus, hypothalamus, pituitary, corpus callosum, looks strikingly similar to the ancient Egyptian eye of Horus. It really suggests they had some grasp of the autonomic nervous system and maybe even pineal activation.
The parallels are hard to ignore.
And even math. The Fibonacci constant, the golden ratio, apparently outlines the brain's structure starting right at the pineal gland, again pointing to its significance.
It's woven into the very structure.
Or consider the Greek symbol of Hermes' caduceus. Those two snakes winding up a rod, wings at the top. Isn't that seen as representing energy moving up the spine, kundalini energy, leading to liberation, enlightenment, the crowning of the self?
All these ancient symbols, these mathematical principles, they really do seem to point towards the same profound truths that modern science is only now beginning to really explore and understand biologically.
Yeah.
And the source material does mention a specific meditation, the tuning in to higher dimensions of time and space meditation. It suggests that by activating your heart, blessing your body's energy centers, and using that specific slow, long breath combined with intrinsic muscle contractions.
Ones that increase the CSF pressure.
Right. You accelerate the cerebrospinal fluid, compress those pineal crystals, and activate the gland. Then, by placing your attention right there, in the space the pineal gland occupies and radiating your intention, you could potentially facilitate the release of these sacred metabolites and consciously receive information from the quantum field. It's presented as a very conscious application of all these biological principles we've been discussing.
Okay, let's shift focus now to something potentially even bigger. Project Coherence and its really powerful implications for, well, maybe making a better world. The source suggests we're living in a time of extremes, right?
Definitely feels that way sometimes.
It reflects this collapsing old consciousness, driven by survival emotions, separation, greed, while simultaneously a new future consciousness seems to be emerging. We're seeing old systems, political, economic, religious media kind of crumbling as everything not aligned with evolution sort of bubbles to the surface. It's a palpable shift, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And you can feel it, this increase in frequency, in energy. It leads to this weird mix, this paradox of anxiety and tension on one hand, but also incredible passion and awakening on the other.
Yeah, both seem amplified.
It really feels like an initiation. Old ways have to fall away for something more functional, more coherent to emerge. And this raises a really important question for all of us. Are there greater influences at play affecting human coherence or incoherence on a global scale? And maybe more importantly, how can we consciously participate in shifting things towards the positive?
Well, the evidence presented on collective intention is pretty compelling. We're talking over 50 demonstration projects, 23 peer-reviewed studies.
That's a significant body of research.
It is, and here's where it gets really fascinating. These studies consistently show an average reduction of more than 70% in things like crime, warfare, and terrorism when groups meditate together with focused intention.
70%, that's huge.
It's staggering. Scientists use something called lead-lag analysis to measure these correlations. They found that the greater the number of meditators and the longer they sustained the meditation, the greater the influence was on decreasing societal violence and increasing peace.
Can you give some specific examples?
Sure. Let's look at the Lebanon Peace Project back in 1983. A group of meditators gathered in Jerusalem. On the days when participation was high, there was a remarkable 76% reduction in war deaths in neighboring Lebanon.
Wow.
And not just deaths, also reduced crime, fires, even traffic accidents in Jerusalem itself. And it wasn't a one-off. They replicated this effect 7 times.
7 times.
Then there was a study by the Rand Corporation from 83 to 85. Nearly 8,000 meditators focused on world peace. This period coincided with a 72% reduction in worldwide terrorism.
8,000 people focusing.
Yeah. And in India, between 1987 and 1990, about 7,000 people meditating together, focusing on peace. This coincided with the swift and notably peaceful end of the Cold War, the fall of the Berlin Wall, the end of the long Iran-Iraq War, and the movement towards ending apartheid in South Africa.
The speed and peaceful nature of those changes is what's striking there.
Exactly. Even on a smaller scale, in 1993, 2,500 meditators in Washington, D.C. statistically reduced violent crime and stress levels in the city during their project. These aren't just nice stories, they're statistically significant findings published in peer-reviewed journals.
It's hard data suggesting collective consciousness has a real effect.
And these studies sort of echo, in a different way, the events around 9/11. The Global Consciousness Project at Princeton University, they collect data from random event generators all over the world.
REGs, right?
Yeah, and they showed dramatic, measurable changes in the randomness, correlating directly with the massive collective emotional outpouring on 9/11. It suggests our collective human emotion can actually have a measurable impact on Earth's magnetic field itself.
So the conclusion seems clear. Group meditations, if they reach a certain size, and involve skilled meditators consciously shifting their emotions and energy, they seem to produce non-local, measurable effects on global peace and coherence. If these peace-gathering projects are a force for global coherence, then we probably also need to consider the deeper cosmic connections that might be influencing us all.
Right. Beyond just human intention, there's this powerful electromagnetic connection described between the sun, the earth, and really all living species. I mean, throughout history, cultures have revered the sun, right? Source of life, enlightenment.
Makes sense intuitively.
And biologically, we are electromagnetic beings, and everything material, in essence, is described as gravitationally organized light and information.
It's a fundamental connection. The Earth's electromagnetic field acts as this vital shield, protecting us from solar radiation, things like sunspots, solar flares, mass coronal ejections.
The big bursts from the sun.
Exactly. These solar events, which tend to happen in cycles roughly every 11 years, they actually compress the Earth's field. This heats up the Earth's iron core and alters its electromagnetic field, and that in turn affects all living organisms tuned into it.
So solar cycles affect Earth's field, which affects us.
Yeah. There was research by Alexander Chizhevsky way back 1915 to 1926. He found correlations between peaks in solar activity and peaks in human excitability.
Excitability leading to
Both conflict, like wars and revolutions, but also periods of great flourishing, like major innovations in art, science, social change. It seemed to amplify whatever was dominant. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, it means the energy from the sun seems to be in near-perfect coherence with our planet's energy and consciousness.
So external energy influences our collective state.
Whether you look at concepts like the Age of Aquarius or galactic alignment, they all kind of point to this idea of increased energy impacting humanity. And here's the crucial point for you, the listener. This incoming energy seems to amplify who you are already being. If you're living in incoherence, stress, separation, fear, the energy amplifies that. But if you're cultivating coherence, that head and heart alignment, love, gratitude, this energy can propel you further into deeper truth, deeper understanding, faster transformation. It's like fuel for your current state.
That's a powerful motivator to get coherent. Okay, speaking of Earth's energy, there's the Schumann resonance, often called the Earth's heartbeat or tuning fork for life.
Right, 7.83 hertz.
These measurable electromagnetic waves bouncing around in the cavity between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere. Sounds like sci-fi, but it's real.
And its importance is pretty undeniable. There was that famous study by Rutger Weaver. He put volunteers in underground bunkers that shielded them from this natural 7.83 hertz frequency.
And what happened?
They experienced significant distress, emotional and physical problems. But as soon as he reintroduced the 7.83 hertz frequency artificially into the bunker, their health was immediately restored.
Wow, proof positive.
It really proved its critical role for our biological circuitry, our overall well-being. And what's truly fascinating here is that 7.83 hertz is also the frequency associated with alpha and upper theta brainwave states.
The states linked to
Suggestibility, deep meditation, relaxation, even increased growth hormone production. This strongly suggests our nervous system can be directly positively influenced by the Earth's natural electromagnetic field. It's a big reason why just spending time in nature can feel so calming and restorative.
You're literally turning back into the planet's frequency.
It's like our biological systems are being harmonized, yeah.
This all seems to lead towards the concept of emergence. How individual parts, acting locally, can suddenly form this unified whole with shared behavior without any central leader telling them what to do.
Like a school of fish turning on a dime.
Exactly. Or a flock of birds making those incredible, intricate patterns in the sky. It's a true bottom-up phenomenon.
And this isn't just theory for fish and birds. It applies to us, too. The HeartMath Institute discovered something amazing. An individual's coherent heart rhythm, when you're feeling those elevated emotions, actually radiates a coherent electromagnetic signal that is detectable by the nervous systems of other people nearby.
Seriously, you can measure that.
Yeah. Think about it. Your heart generates the strongest magnetic field in your body, measurable several feet away from you. This provides a powerful explanation for how we intuitively sense other people's moods or emotional states. You're literally picking up their field.
That explains that vibe you get from people.
It's likely a big part of it. The Global Coherence Initiative, or GCI, builds on this. They believe that 1. Human health and emotions are influenced by solar and earth magnetic fields. 2. Earth's field carries biologically relevant information. 3. Humans actually influence this field collectively. And 4. Collective heart-centered states can create a more coherent global information field.
So we influence the field, and the field influences us.
It's a feedback loop. They even have a Global Coherence Monitoring System, GCMS, using sensitive magnetometers around the world to measure these resonant frequencies, looking for correlations between human physiological states, collective events, and solar genetic activity. Now, this raises an important question.
Go on.
If we create individual coherent fields through our heart focus and emotions, and we connect with others doing the same thing, these individual waves can synchronize. They can create constructive interference.
Meaning the waves add up.
Exactly. They create bigger waves, stronger magnetic fields. This could exponentially increase our collective influence on the Earth's information field. We become more powerful together.
That's incredible. So it's not just a nice idea, it's potentially measurable physics. And you've actually worked with HeartMath since 2013, right? Scanning brains and hearts, measuring collective energy in workshop rooms using that Russian sensor, Sputnik.
Yes, we have.
What have those readings shown? Does the energy in the room actually change?
The Sputnik readings are genuinely remarkable. We see consistent daily increases in the collective energy measured in the room during our workshops. It literally shows the students are getting better at raising the energy of the room as the week progresses.
You see a learning curve in the energy field.
We do. Typically, we see an initial dip in energy on the first day or so, which we think reflects people working through their past emotional bonds, their limiting beliefs, the resistance. But this is always followed by dramatic increases as individual fields become more coherent and start to entrain one another, linking up.
So what does this all mean, practically?
It means the bigger the coherent wave the group creates, the higher the amplitude of energy in that space. And that leads to more available energy for healing, for breakthroughs, for those profound mystical experiences, not just for one person, but potentially influencing everyone in that collective field.
Wow. And you've tested this more directly with Project Coherence experiments.
Yes. We've done experiments where we put HRV heart rate variability monitors on maybe 50 to 75 participants sitting in the front row.
Okay, measuring their heart coherence.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the entire room, sometimes 550 people, sometimes up to 1,500, focuses intently on their heart centers. They consciously cultivate an elevated emotion like love, gratitude, wholeness, joy, and they broadcast that intention for the greatest good of the HRV group, specifically intending healing or mystical experiences for them.
And what happens?
The non-local effect was confirmed again and again. Every single heart in that monitored HRV group went into coherence at the exact same time, during the exact same meditation on the exact same day. We saw this repeatedly across multiple workshops.
Everyone synced up instantly, just through intention.
It strongly supports the idea of an invisible field connecting and influencing all living systems. That information, that intention, seems to be communicating non-locally, interacting directly with the autonomic nervous system. Now, this raises another important question for all of us listening. If we can demonstrate this kind of non-local effect in our workshops, shouldn't our own elevated heart-centered emotions be able to produce similar non-local effects on our children, our partners, our coworkers, or really anyone we have a relationship or connection with? It suggests our influence extends far beyond our physical presence.
That's a powerful thought. And that very question really led to the growth of your global Project Coherence meditations, didn't it? It started organically.
It did. Students asked for it. We started on Facebook back in 2015 with about 6,000 people joining in. The next one had 36,000. The one after that, 43,000 participants from all over the world meditating together.
Wow. The desire is clearly there.
It seems so. The Project Coherence meditation itself, as described in the source, involves acknowledging your heart center, focusing your awareness there, then moving your consciousness deep into the center of the earth, radiating your light, and then bringing the earth as a thought into your heart, raising its frequency and broadcasting that energy of love and coherence up beyond your body into space. It's a potent exercise in collective energetic intention.
Okay, now let's turn to some incredibly powerful real-life examples shared in the book. These aren't just anecdotes. They feel like documented accounts of supernatural transformations. Experiences by individuals who simply set an intention, really focused, and then surrendered the outcome to something greater, allowing this intelligence to move through them and create profound changes.
And the key message is that this same intelligence lives within everyone.
Exactly, it lives within you. So first, there's Stacy's story, which she titled, Divine, Can You Hear Me? Stacy was a registered nurse, also an acupuncturist, and back in 2014, she started getting these severe, debilitating headaches. After about a year, a CT scan found a benign tumor, a meningioma, that was obstructing her 8th cranial nerve. This led to major hearing loss, like 70% gone in her left ear, plus dizziness, nausea, shoulder pain, awful stuff.
And the medical solution offered was?
Craniotomy. Invasive brain surgery, something she deeply wanted to avoid.
Understandably. So she attended workshops.
Yes. Her journey led her eventually to an advanced workshop in Tampa in 2017. When she arrived, she actually developed this intense earache, which got even worse the next day. But then, curiously, after doing the Blessing of the Energy Centers meditation, the earache just stopped abruptly.
Interesting.
Then, Sunday morning, during the specific pineal gland activation meditation, something extraordinary happened. She completely lost track of time and space. And here's where her experience gets really remarkable. She felt like she was going to fall off her chair. And then, in her own words, an amazing flash of light consumed the left side of her head. She described it like, imagine if you put 1,000 diamonds together and shined a light on them that wouldn't even begin to touch this light. Then boom!
Wow.
Her body shot upright as this bluish-white light, unlike anything she'd ever seen, entered her left ear. She described the feeling as the most divine, loving feeling, like the hand of God was caressing me with grace.
And physically?
Immediately, her sinuses cleared. Then the whole left side of her head felt clear. Then her shoulder relaxed. And for the first time in 3 years, she could hear perfectly out of her left ear.
Hearing restored instantly.
100% restored. She even reported hearing the celestial sound of angels singing above the song being played, knowing it was beyond the normal auditory range. As this energy continued moving through her, her body started shaking uncontrollably, feeling like every synapse and muscle firing. Her heart center felt wide open, and she just completely surrendered to this unknown, powerful experience.
An overwhelming experience.
Totally. Afterwards, naturally, maybe a moment of doubt crept in. Did that really happen? And instantly, this three-dimensional fractal energy, described as red like the heart and blue like energy, appeared right in front of her, almost slithering like a snake. It shot directly into her heart, felt like it opened her chest, and it served as this undeniable confirmation of the healing. It changed her life forever.
Just incredible, the power of that internal shift.
Astonishing. Next, we hear from Janet. Her story is titled, You Are Mine. Janet was apparently in a deep depression, utterly exhausted, and she was seeking to somehow recreate a spontaneous transcendental experience she'd had 25 years earlier.
Trying to find that connection again.
Exactly. So during the pineal gland meditation at one of the workshops, she managed to activate her pineal gland. And instantly, this brilliant white light, the exact same light she'd seen 25 years before, illuminated her pineal gland's crystals and her entire being, right down to the cellular level.
Wow, it came back.
It came back. Her spine straightened automatically, her head went back, and she just felt pure ecstasy, bliss, gratitude, and love. Then she saw an inverted triangle made of light, which she instinctively knew represented a loving intelligence, descend and merge with her pineal gland.
Symbolic merging.
And this light repeatedly whispered the words, You are mine, which she didn't interpret possessively, but as the most profound, unconditional love and acceptance.
Like belonging to the divine.
Yes. As she surrendered deeper, she experienced this powerful download of information, which she described as luminous cobalt blue pearls, slowly descending through her body. She recognized it as that reverse torus field, pulling energy and information in from the unified field beyond the senses.
The information download.
This experience was so real, so potent, that she felt it literally rewired her brain, sent a totally new energetic signal through her body, washed away her past burdens, and gave her a complete biological upgrade. Her depression, her exhaustion completely gone, life transformed.
Another profound biological shift from an inner experience.
And then there's a concise but incredibly powerful story from Sasha called Connected by Love. Sasha was in New Jersey doing a Project Coherence meditation, visualizing bringing the earth into her heart.
Okay.
As she meditated, Sasha felt quite literally shoots and leaves growing from her heart center, as if she was becoming the earth garden. At that exact same moment, her best friend Heather, who was hiking in Ireland, randomly found a patch of moss growing in the perfect shape of a heart on the ground.
Secret.
And Heather felt Sasha's overwhelming presence right there with her so strongly she immediately took a photo and sent it. It just vividly illustrates that non-local connection, how collective intention and love can bridge physical distance instantly.
Beautiful example of that field connection.
Then there's Donna's story, A Bridge for Souls. Donna described herself as a technical writer, very analytical mind. At her very first workshop, she had a really surprising experience during meditation. She found herself surrounded by hundreds of what she perceived as interdimensional beings, and she instinctively knew they were connected to her fiancé, specifically victims from his time in war.
That must have been startling, especially for an analytical type.
Extremely. Fast forward 2 years, she's at another event doing the pineal gland meditation, and this time she's actually having her brain scanned while meditating.
Oh, interesting.
These same beings reappeared, standing in a line off to her right. Then she saw another line of beings appear to her left, these ones described as human-like but shimmering golden and blue-hued.
Two distinct groups.
Yes. And what's truly fascinating here is that she just knew innately what her role was. She understood she could act as a bridge to pass them over from the right line, the stuck souls, to the left line, the light, helping those who had died suddenly, traumatically, and were caught, as she perceived it, between matter and light.
Acting as a conduit for transition.
Exactly. She described this vivid, lucid experience of watching them running across a field of waist-high red mist, and she could feel their freedom, joy, and happiness as they crossed over. It was a profound act of service and compassion emerging spontaneously from her meditative state. Later, in another meditation, she had the experience of becoming the universe, reaching a state of absolute bliss. Her life completely transformed afterwards, filled with new energy and vitality.
Shows how these experiences can unlock unexpected capacities.
Absolutely. And finally, the really dramatic account of Jerry back from the brink. Jerry suffered severe pancreatitis, a truly life-threatening condition. He had fluid in his lungs, ended up on a ventilator. The situation was so bad, doctors told his wife to start getting end-of-life paperwork in order. They even consulted specialists in Boston who confirmed how dire it looked.
Sounds like a hopeless situation medically.
It really did. But Jerry, who was actually a medical technician himself, realized he couldn't just give in to the fear and the grim prognosis. He kept thinking to himself, he said, watch your thoughts, relax, put something into the quantum field that's going to help you and not hurt you.
Consciously managing his internal state even then.
Despite having a large mass blocking his pancreatic duct and being incredibly ill, he continuously focused his energy. He meditated daily in his hospital bed, working intensely to overcome his fear, overcome his body's condition, and change his state of being.
That takes incredible focus and will.
It really does. And here's where his story takes that astonishing turn. Just 2 days before he was scheduled for a major complex surgery, new scans were taken. And the mass that was blocking his pancreatic duct, it had completely disappeared. Vanished. His doctors were astonished. The whole medical team was baffled. Jerry's powerful conclusion was that by constantly raising his energy, by feeling healthy despite his condition, by putting the right message, intention, and energy out into the quantum field, he had healed himself.
A testament to the power of mind over matter, even in extreme circumstances. These stories really do highlight the immense potential within each individual to profoundly influence their own reality, their biology, their health.
Okay, as we draw this deep dive towards a close, The afterword leaves us with a really crucial takeaway, doesn't it? It's not enough to simply think peace or feel peace just during meditation.
Right. The practice needs to extend beyond the cushion.
We have to actually demonstrate it in our daily lives. Remember those peace-gathering projects we talked about?
The ones with the crime reduction?
Yeah. A key point mentioned is that when the experiments ended, the reduced crime rates often returned to their previous baseline levels. It really emphasizes the critical need for sustained, embodied action, not just temporary interventions.
It really becomes a biological imperative then. Every single time we manage to temper our reactive behaviors, the anger, the fear, the judgment, and we consciously choose elevated emotions instead, like caring, giving, joy. We are literally neurochemically conditioning our mind and body towards that new state.
Rewiring ourselves through daily choices.
Exactly. Now, this raises an important question for you, the listener. How does that feel initially?
Probably awkward, uncomfortable.
Often, yeah. It feels unnatural at first, precisely because it goes against maybe years, even decades of automatic conditioned responses and maybe even genetic programming for survival reactions. But this, the source argues, is exactly how we become supernatural. By choosing differently than our programming.
Stepping outside the old self.
Right. True leadership in this sense doesn't need external validation or applause. It simply requires having a clear vision for a different future, and then sustaining a new state of being that aligns with that vision, day in and day out. That sustained state, by its very nature, inspires others. Discomfort, in this context, isn't a sign to stop. It's a powerful challenge for growth. Overcoming that stress response we feel when facing an unpredictable future requires a profound belief in possibility, in something unseen.
And the repetition, as you said, is absolutely key here. It's about practice.
Constant practice.
Until the body knows how to be peaceful, how to be compassionate, as well as the conscious mind thinks about it. When that happens, it becomes innate, familiar, easy, second nature.
It moves from conscious effort to subconscious program.
Exactly. Then, thinking and demonstrating peace or love or coherence, which once required intense focus and willpower, becomes your new automatic state of being. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is how we memorize a new internal neurochemical order that is greater than our external environment. This is how we truly master ourselves and, by extension, begin to master our environment.
And this leads towards the ultimate vision presented. When enough people achieve this coherent state of being, consistently embody it, maybe we can truly act as one mind, like those schools of fish or flocks of birds we talked about. We could potentially emerge as a new species, operating from a place of unity consciousness.
That's a huge evolutionary leap.
It is. The alternative, the book warns, is continuing to act like a cancerous organism at war with itself, driven by separation and survival, which will inevitably lead to species non-survival. So when we face the current global challenges, the collapsing old structures, the invitation is to see them not with fear, but as a necessary, albeit sometimes painful, process for new growth to occur.
Like composting the old to fertilize the new.
Precisely. And crucially, we must avoid squandering our precious energy by getting caught up in emotional reactions to leaders or political events or media narratives that thrive on division. Instead, the call is to stand firmly for principles like freedom, justice, truth, equality, and to unite behind the energy of oneness rather than getting fragmented by focusing on separation. That's how we collectively shift the tides.
It feels like this moment in time for each of us really is an initiation. It's a rite of passage designed to challenge our current state, push our boundaries for the sake of realizing a greater potential.
It's a call to evolution.
Yeah. And as the source states it so beautifully, this is a time in history when it is not enough to simply know. This is a time to know how. We have the knowledge, now we need the application. Quantum physics tells us fundamentally that our subjective mind influences the objective world. Mind influences matter.
It compels us to study the nature of mind.
Because the more we understand our inherent power to influence reality, starting with our own biology, the more limitless our potential becomes both as individuals and maybe more importantly, collectively. So, if raising our energy, opening our hearts, consistently produces bigger and bigger coherent electromagnetic fields, casting a stronger, wider wave of love and coherence around the world, then consider this. What would happen if every single one of us, everybody, truly chose peace and we all came together locked into that same powerful, coherent energy at the exact same time?
And this raises perhaps one final important question. In a world where we know mirror neurons mean we are biologically wired to mimic the behavior we see around us, if enough of us consistently model peace, justice, compassion, and wholeness in our daily lives, how quickly could humanity as one interconnected organism, shift its collective consciousness from mere survival to a state of genuine thriving, fundamentally changing the course of history.
Something profound to ponder as you continue your own deep dive into becoming supernatural. Until next time.